Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. Through fire and shadow, truth does stand. From wrecking these ashes, the soul defend. Fire shit. We on cuz history and paid the heaviest pyramid stone. Promises ghosted, exposed, marrow broken, bone and dry. Making the contract a phantom, voices from the wall, echo, whisper, silence, holds the anthem, broken ledger, peep the lecture, who signs for the scars? Generations built kingdoms on land and sea, now they got us out of space, reaching for stars. Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. Through fire and shadow, the truth ascends. From reckoning's ashes, soul defend. Balance tip, the scales lean. You dirty crook, justice not found, pockets deep. Overlooked, why you shook? Paved streets of gold, but who paid the toll? Riches in their coffers, but they borrowed the soul. Restitution, a word heavy with weight. Who writes a check when history's late? It's only fate, mark the date. Game over. Game over. Rise from the ruins, soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth does sing. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defend. Rebuilt from the wreckage, brick by brick. Hands that heal, no more Houdini tricks. Restoration of soil screens for seeds. No greed, a garden blooming with truth, not just pulling the weeds. Blueprints drawn in blood, sweating and tears. Keep your stride, fix the foundation and step inside. Bitch, we arrive. Rise from the ruins.
Salute.
Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth of sin. From wrecking these ashes, the soul defends.
I got a little video to show, share with everybody.
Can't see the sun. Every step's a gamble. Gotta keep it going. Dreams get buried where the rivers don't run. Survive the jungle or you become none. Concrete crack where the shadows roam. Hustlers pray the street, gods call it home. Black hoodies dance with a 40s tone. Voices in the alley, cold hearts of stone. Night whispers louder than the siren scream. Chasing dirty paper, haunted by a dream. Feds lurking, snakes slither through the seams. Trust is a phantom split by the beam. Concrete jungle, can't see the sun. Every step's a gamble, gotta keep a gun. Dreams get buried where the rivers don't run. Survive the jungle or you become none. Yeah. Block, hotter than the devil's breath. Every corner's a gamble, flirting with death. Shorty's mama cries, last name on his chest. He was aiming for the throne, ended up a guest. Fast life turns slow when the cuffs click. Money talks loud, but calm as a cold bitch. Snakes shed their skin, plots get thick. In this game of chess, better move quick. Neon signs flicker, city never sleeps. Concrete lullabies, I'm the secret sick key. Tales of the fallen, the highs and the steeps. In the belly of the beast, where the reaper creeps. Concrete jungle, can't see the sun. Every step's a gamble, gotta keep a gun. Dreams get buried where the rivers don't run. Survive the jungle or you become none.
Some say we ain't old shit. Ain't that a bitch? I challenge you to prove us wrong. My ancestors' bones are buried deep in American dirt. The deeper you dig, the longer the timeline gets. I'll continue to speak through song, but I will not forget to speak through actions. I'm not a believer, for I choose to know I know where I stand. I know where I'm from and I know where I'm headed. I implore you to know thyself, because when you find yourself, you find God. Let's go! Whistles blow, steel mills moan, blood in the cotton. Ghosts of the past still lurk, not forgotten. Chains on the mind, plus chains on the wallet. 40 acres, how about a nation? They just stalling. Roots run deep where the magnolias lean. Dirt rich soil, but the soul ain't clean. Every lie denies the birthright of the bloodline. Payback overdue, you running out of time. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption, the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption, the seed we've been sowing on our own. Grand grandmother prayed by the riverside, weeping sins of they forefathers in the ground still creeping. Fried chicken grease on the stove still popping. Dreams fried crispy, hard truths ain't stopping. Jim Crow shadow still cast long low. Swamp water whisper secrets only we know. Told us to pull up from the boots that we stocked. How you fix a scorched field with a single shot?
Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Resurrection of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Resurrection of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own.
Plenty receipts for the pain they inflicted. Plenty receipts for the culture restricted. Took the rhythm, left us the blues, but the rhythm came back, now it's breaking loose. From Delta Dirt to Cahokia streets, we the bricks in the road, we the drumline beats. Copper colored up, rising hands reach for the crown. Southbound justice payback coming round.
Reparations,
The checks in the mail.
restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own.
All right, let me run that beautiful bean footage. Might be something you want to pay attention to. I ain't watched this whole thing, but I'm going to finish watching it with y'all.
Broadcast news for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. I'm Mike Adams. Of course, thank you for joining me, and you're going to love today's show. We've got a Decentralized TV episode, full episode, coming up for you today with my co-host Todd Pittner. And today we're interviewing Marcin, who's a Polish man. He's the fusion, the nuclear fusion PhD scientist who has developed all these open source plans for building your own agricultural equipment. No, not a nuclear fusion reactor for your farm, although that would be cool. Instead, it's about how to build your own tractors and bulldozers and things like that using open source blueprints so that you can sort of bootstrap society with very simple materials and techniques. So that's a really great interview for Decentralized Living. Can't wait to get to that. But we also have some other news to cover. And in one story, I got to start with this one. So President Trump said that he is working with Democrats about a plan that's going to give money to the people so they can buy their own health insurance. In other words, the money that the government takes from us, Trump says we're gonna give it back to the people, let them buy their own health insurance with the money that we gave them back that we originally took from them. And I'm thinking, isn't that just the way it used to be without the government involved? Just you had your money and you bought health insurance. Now, I mean, because of Obamacare, and let's be honest, Obamacare was a total nightmare. You know, a wrecked model for government subsidizing health insurance companies and forcing everybody to buy overpriced health insurance. It was a nightmare. But this is also a different kind of nightmare, which is the government's going to take money from you. They're going to waste most of it, and then they're going to give some back to you and say, you should use it to buy your own health insurance. You know, it's like, why don't you just get the government out of the way completely? Stop taking our money. In fact, just end taxation entirely. Stop taking our money. Stop making decisions for us. Stop forcing us to buy things or telling us what we can't buy in the case of, you know, hemp and CBDs. Just let us keep our own money and spend it on the things we want to spend it on, which for some people will include health insurance, etc. But Trump is touting this new plan with Senator Bill Cassidy, who is a big pharma whore, by the way. He's the chairman of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. Oh, my goodness. And Trump said, people love the idea. The insurance companies are making a fortune. Their stock is up over 1,000%. They're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're not really putting it back, certainly not like they should, he said. And that Trump wants the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. And again, it's like, why not just get out of the way, not take the money, let people buy their own health insurance anyway? Now, here's the truth about the healthcare system. Of course, it's a complete fraud. It's not about healthcare at all. It's about sick care, and it profits from keeping people sick. You know this. We've talked about this 1,000 times. So there's all kinds of money in keeping people sick, and that's one of the reasons why health insurance costs are so high, but also because a lot of people, many Americans, well, they eat a lot of processed junk food, and they don't take care of their health, and they lack good nutrition, and as a result, they generate all kinds of diseases in their bodies, and cancer and heart disease, diabetes, obesity, etc. But some of that is because of all the censorship about nutrition and health information by tech giants like Google and Facebook and YouTube and whoever else. And they deliberately censor honest information in order to keep people sick and to appease Big Pharma. You know, Google is Big Pharma's protector to make sure that the only information people can find online about health is information that promotes the pharmaceutical industry and vaccines. So that's what Google does. So Trump, see, without addressing the root problem here, Trump wants to give the people's money back to them, the money that the government took, and let them buy health insurance. Well, let me tell you, I wouldn't buy any health insurance at all, personally, if it wasn't mandated in some way. I think my company has some basic policy that we're required by law to have because of Obamacare. And that's all I have. That's it. I don't have any other insurance. Maybe this isn't the right decision for you. I can't say, but for me, I don't have any plan to use doctors except in emergencies, like an injury or something, which I did have on the ranch, over 2 years ago, but I didn't even go to the emergency room with that emergency anyway. And that was the one where I almost severed my index finger, but thankfully that's all healed up now. And I didn't even go to the emergency room for that. So I don't have a doctor. I mean, just saying, I don't do annual checkups. You know why? Because I lead an anti-cancer lifestyle every single day. I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising, I'm getting sunshine. I don't do a bunch of toxins. I don't do toxic products. See, I believe in cause and effect. I believe that my health outcomes are determined by the choices I make and the things that I do. There are no surprises. And insurance is heavily leaned on, I notice, by a lot of people who don't understand cause and effect. So they're going to eat Pop-Tarts and ice cream all day and live a sedentary lifestyle and engage in all kinds of like wearing cancer-causing fragrance chemicals all day long. Well, yeah, they need lots of insurance because they're going to get cancer at some point, because there's going to be surprises of all kinds of diseases that just pop up because, their choices cause those diseases one way or another. And I'm not saying that there can't be factors outside of your control, because there can be, because we do live in a toxic world. But what I'm saying is, I don't believe in random spontaneous disease. You know why? Because there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as just random cancer. It doesn't just spontaneously appear for no reason. If there's cancer in your body, it's because your body grew it. It's because it's getting the wrong cellular signals. And that can be because of exposure to anything from heavy metals to, plastics and phthalates and things like that. Well, where are those found? In all kinds of toxic personal care products and, toxic, just laundry detergent, all kinds of garbage like that. So again, what appears random to a lot of people is not random in my mind. It's cause and effect. So I don't buy health insurance for the same reason that I don't play the lottery, because I don't believe that things are just random. And as a result, the amount of money that I have saved over all these years by not buying health insurance other than whatever minimum, is required by law that my company buys. But the amount of money I've saved, I mean, I can't even imagine. It's got to be many hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so what do I spend money on? Well, like my store's products. I spend money on nutrition, on superfoods, on amazing, clean products, clean laundry detergent, clean deodorant, personal care products based on baking soda and magnesium instead of aluminum and toxins, So it's my belief, and again, this isn't medical advice, but it's my belief that if most people took all the money they're spending on health insurance and instead spent it on healthy food, healthy supplements, even just vitamin D, which is dirt cheap, if they just spent the insurance money on living healthy, they wouldn't need the insurance for the most part, because they wouldn't be getting all those diseases that the insurance covers. You see what I'm saying? So we live in a country where people want to poison themselves with all kinds of processed junk food and processed toxins and deodorants and shampoos and everything. And then they have to spend a fortune on health insurance to cover the medical costs associated with the conditions that they will develop because they're living a toxic lifestyle. Well, that's a very rapid way to go broke. You spend a fortune on junk food, and then you spend a fortune on health insurance, and then you spend a fortune on medications. Well, no wonder so many people are broke across America, No wonder people that live like I do are getting ahead, because we're not throwing money down the drain on all these nonsense things. Instead, we invest in nutrition, clean products, good health, and, we put in the time for whatever exercise, strength training or light, sunshine, healthy living. It's the best investment that you can possibly make is healthy living. And whether you go all the way like I do, which is, very few people live with the kind of health discipline that I express, and that's okay. You can be anywhere on the spectrum. You could do 50% of what I do, and you'll be healthier than 99% of the American people. Seriously. You don't have to do 100% of what I do. You can just do part of it. Do the part that resonates with you. But every effort that you invest in healthy living is going to save you a fortune in the future for not having hospital visits and medications and lost work time and whatever else. And also, lower insurance rates if you buy insurance. You'll be in the lower risk group by making healthier choices. It's very simple. So when Trump says, hey, the money is going to go into an account for people where the people can then buy their own health insurance, I'm thinking, what a total waste. My money's not going into any account like that. You're not going to get my money. I'm not going to buy into your stupid, broken, sick care system at all. I'm opting out. And remember the title of the first book I'm going to release from our new Brighteon Books website. It's called Unleash Your Inner Middle Finger. And I showed you the cover of that book the other day. That's going to be the first book. And there should be a whole chapter. Actually, there is a whole chapter dedicated to healthcare. And it's being able to give the finger to the authoritarians to say, no, I'm not going to participate in your stupid system. Instead, I'm going to make healthy choices in my diet, in my lifestyle, in avoiding toxins, avoiding things that cause cancer, etc., avoiding seed oils, avoiding MSG, partially hydrogenated oils, whatever. And I'm going to be healthy. That's the best return. And you don't need permission from the government. And you know what else is awesome about leading a healthy lifestyle? You don't need to fill out any forms. You don't have to provide your social security number to just go to the grocery store and eat healthier, or grow your own food, or go to a farmer's market, or subscribe to a CSA, or whatever works for you. Grow your own sprouts, You don't need permission to do it, because the government's never going to get involved in anything that's going to actually make you healthier. They don't benefit from you being healthy. If anything, remember, the government, to be financially solvent, wants to make sure that you die younger so they can save money on Social Security and Medicare. In fact, it's necessary for the financial solvency of the United States government, is to make sure that millions of Americans die sooner. They're not interested in you being healthy. They're very interested in, snuffing out your life. And that's what Operation Warp Speed was all about. That's what the vaccines and the bioweapons were all about. And Trump pushed that. And, just for those of you listening who are women, that mammography causes cancer. Mammography emits ionizing radiation.
I hear no
That
lies.
causes genetic mutations of the cells, not only in your breasts, but in your heart and in your lungs. And the entire reason, I hope you already know this, but the entire reason the cancer industry pushes mammograms, annual mammograms, I think after the age of 40 or something, is because they know that if you keep going back for mammograms year after year, eventually it will cause cancer, and then they'll have a customer. They'll have a customer, and they can enrich a chemotherapy clinic or a cancer surgeon. They can make a bunch of money off of you because they gave you cancer because you were gullible enough to believe in their lie that early detection saves lives. No, it doesn't. It's early cancer that they're giving you. They're giving you cancer and then claiming they detected it. I mean, it's a criminal con. And if you participate in that, you should stop doing it. While you still have your breasts, while you still don't have cancer, because every time you go back for a mammogram, your risk of cancer goes up. So if you want to have your breast scanned, you can do thermal scans. There are naturopathic practitioners that offer thermal scans, I believe, unless they outlawed them already, which is possible. Or the best part is, lead an anti-cancer lifestyle. Take vitamin D, exercise, move your lymph. A thousand things that you can do to not ever have cancer. And you don't need to stick your breasts in a cold pancake smasher compress, a hydraulic press. You don't need to do that to be cancer-free. That's not even necessary. In fact, it's humiliating. Well, I'm told. I've never actually done that because I don't have breasts, but that's what people tell me. And by the way, right now, RFK Jr., Secretary Kennedy, is promoting HRT drugs again. HRT drugs were pulled off the market, 15 years ago or something, after it was found that they caused cancer in hundreds of thousands of women. Those drugs probably killed hundreds of thousands of American women. And they were promoted as a panacea for everything. Oh, here, take these HRT drugs and, your life will get better somehow. It was a medical fad, and every doctor across America was pushing HRT drugs on all the women of almost any age. It was crazy. And then, sure enough, the cancers started showing up. A lot of women started dying, and then they were pulled off the market. There were massive lawsuits, and the drug company stopped pushing them. They moved on to another scam, like statin drugs, or these days GLP-1 weight loss injections. They always have another scam. It's an opioid scam, it's the Vioxx scam, whatever it is. Well, now RFK Jr. wants to bring those back. Says that they benefited lots and lots of women. So now we're going to see another wave of breast cancer in women. Yes, because RFK Jr. and HHS is pushing HRT drugs again, which benefits who? The drug companies, the sick care industry, the medical establishment. They benefit when women get cancer. And the insurance companies benefit because they get to raise premiums because, risk factors are going up. So, look, the whole system is built around profiting off of sickness and disease. And when you opt out of the system, you reclaim your health. And that's what I teach. Opting out of the system reclaims your health, but you can't do it part way. You can't drop your insurance, but still eat a bunch of processed, toxic, fried foods filled with seed oils. Because, then you're going to get sick from your diet. So if you decide, again, don't take this as financial advice or medical advice, but if you decide to drop your health insurance, I wouldn't do it unless you lead a super healthy lifestyle like I'm doing. And I would always carry some kind of basic accident insurance you know, in case you're involved in some kind of accident or mishap or something that has nothing to do with you know, diet and health, what have you. Maybe you could be involved in a boating accident or something. Who knows? Or, you know, your skydiving lesson goes wrong. Yeah, anybody out there skydiving these days? Yeah, I used to think I wanted to go skydiving, and then I realized it wouldn't even be that thrilling. I have no fear of heights at all, and I realized that skydiving would be a little bit boring. So otherwise, I'd probably do it, but I don't know. Did I ever tell you this? Like years ago, I went to, I think it was Six Flags. Yeah, it was a Six Flags amusement park with this crazy ride where they strap you into this thing and they like winch you up, connected by two cables to this really, really tall thing. You're just hanging up there by yourself. And then they release you and you just like swing like Superman through this giant arc that's massive. I don't know, it's like 20 stories high or whatever. And I thought, man, I got to do this because I got to find out if I could get scared of anything like this. You know, if I could get my heart rate up or something, if I could have some kind of thrill from any kind of ride or a roller coaster or anything like that. This was years ago. And so I picked that ride just to see. I want the scariest ride in the park. So I picked that ride, you know, paid the ticket, got in line, got in there, went up to the top, and they released it, you know, and I'm flying through like Superman. And like, yay, yay. And just like dropping, you know, zero gravity, dropping like 20 stories. And then in this arc, like, yay. And at the end of it, I was like, that's totally not worth it. And that's when I realized that that even skydiving wouldn't do much for me, but whatever. I do like scuba diving, by the way. I was trained in Australia. I actually learned how to scuba dive off the coast of Australia. The first dive I did after the training was on the Great Barrier Reef, literally. And so I was certified by the organization known as PADI, P-A-D-I. That's the group that covers Australia. I don't know what it's called in America, but anyway, so I was certified down to 20 meters and did some diving there, not much, and then never dove since. But I got certified in Australia, dove on the Great Barrier Reef, and I had a blast going down deep, looking up, seeing like swordfish swimming around and everything. That was fun, but also didn't get me nervous. It was just enjoyable, actually. It was just really enjoyable. It's not scary at all. It was just fun, just kind of interesting. So I don't know, below the water, above the ground, in the sky, in the clouds, I don't know, nothing is scary. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe it's just because of philosophy. Once you realize you're living in a simulation, you know, it's not as real as you think. Like your mind makes it real. But if you don't participate in the fear, then it's not real. So, you know, everything's a choice, folks. Everything's a choice. We're going to talk about debt and finance, but there's one more thing I just forgot to mention. Another example of this, when I was training as a pilot to fly in small aircraft Cessnas. I trained in a Cessna, well, a 172 and then a 182. But one of the required trainings is a night flight. And I was doing the training in Central Texas, and my instructor had me do a night flight over San Marcos, the San Marcos airport, which is shaped like a triangle. Very, very odd. It's got 3 runways in a triangle shape, which is very unusual for airports. And again, this is at the runway, and you have no power, and you can't. So immediately, you look at your instruments and you pitch the nose down a little bit to maintain airspeed, because you don't want to stall the aircraft, obviously. And on these Cessnas, there's a whistling air thing on the wing, so you can actually, it's a stall warning, so like you can hear if you're stalling, you know. So you're listening and you're watching and you're just checking the instruments and you're pitching, and then the instructor and it's like all you did is turn off the engine and we're just gliding. I mean, that's kind of why we should do that more often. Did you know that when you're flying aircraft like that, you can just open the windows? Did you know that? There's a window right beside you. The cockpits are really crowded, especially for a larger guy like me. You know, if you're tall, if you have broad shoulders like I do, it's cramped. It's crazy. It's more cramped than a compact rental car. Seriously, they're really cramped. And but the window's right beside your face. You can just open the window. You can just look out, you can just put your hand out there if you want, the windows are right there. So, especially if you're going on my instructor, you know why? They're all, if you high debt on the planet, is by far the debt. What's their population? 1.3 billion people, something like that. So it's more than that. So, the U.S. per capita is a little under 17%, $100 trillion. Doesn't count unfunded liabilities of our planet combined. Pilot. All right. Have you been wondering about who has all the debt in the world? The government debt of all the nations of our planet combined is about $111 trillion. Now, that doesn't count unfunded liabilities, because the U.S. alone, in terms of unfunded liabilities, is somewhere close to $200 trillion. But in terms of the actual reported debt, the total debt on the planet, according to Visual Capitalist, is $111 trillion. The United States alone has over 1/3 of all that debt. The United States has the most debt of any nation on the planet by far. The nation that's second in line is China, that has a little under 17% of the debt. In other words, the United States has more than twice the debt of China, even though China has what's their population? 1.3 billion people, something like that. So it's like 4 times more higher population than the United States, or a little bit more than that. So, the U.S. per capita has the craziest debt levels on the planet per capita. Now, Japan has almost 9% of the world's debt, which is a lot for a relatively small country. And for Japan, their debt to GDP ratio is somewhere close to 200%. What? Yeah, exactly. Close to 200%. That's crazy. And so when Trump says, hey, it's a golden age and everybody wants to be like America, and you look at this chart, you're like, nope, certainly not. No, not everybody wants to be like America, because America's got so much debt that it's off the charts insane. In fact, if you really do your research on this, you'll find out that countries like Russia have less than 0.5% of the world's total debt. So Russia's actually in great financial shape compared to the United States. The United States is going to be crushed by debt. It's only a matter of time, whereas, the rest of the world will be able to muddle through, probably, although China's going to face some, definitely a debt issue here at some point as well. And Japan is already in a financial crisis. The yen won't last forever, but neither will the dollar. Neither will the euro, for that matter. But the U.S. is in the worst shape by far. So we're now in that late stage of financial collapse of the empire. And in this late stage, it's very clear to me that Trump is going to be pushing quantitative easing. That's right. Yeah. Quantitative easing, a euphemism for money printing and helicopter money. And this is going to break the system, I believe. So let's talk about that for a second here. We were just talking about the new health insurance genius idea from Trump is like, let's give people's money back to them. Like, this is a great idea. We'll give it back to them in special accounts where they can use that money to buy health insurance. Well, again, overly complicated and wasteful, but this is a form of quantitative easing, isn't it? It's shoving money back to the people so they can spend that money on things in the economy. In this case, wasteful things like health insurance, things that are overpriced and filled with fraud and waste and all kinds of nonsense. But it does pump money into the economy through industries that mostly keep people sick. Nevertheless, all that still counts as GDP. The gross death product, obviously. That's what the U.S. Specializes in. The GDP, gross death product. It's it's the death care industry, or sick care, and it's the death bombs industry from the military industrial complex, and it's the death of the dollar industry, which is debt. So, the GDP is death and debt and dollars and destruction and downfall. That's the D in GDP. But Trump is toying with a number of ideas right now that are all a form of quantitative easing, or QE. For example, the promised $2,000 bonus check, and what did he call it? The tariff dividend check that Trump is promising is going to be sent out to people who make less than $100,000 a year. They're all going to get $2,000. A tariff dividend. Well, but again, this is money that's been taken from the American people, because ultimately the consumers pay the tariffs, obviously. So the government takes the money and then gives a little bit back to you and says, aren't we wonderful? You should thank us for giving the money back to you. But that's a form of QE. So again, $2,000 to each person. They're going to go spend it at restaurants and shopping at Walmart or Amazon or, wherever. Or what was I saying before? We're talking about this. They're going to visit pole dancing bars.
What's cracking, black hairs?
Cocaine or whatever, Hey, it's stimulus money. You said stimulus, So that's what they're going to do. Some people are going to spend it on that. Hookers and crack, whatever. Or laundry detergent, or corn dogs, or, whatever people are wanting to buy. But that's not going to be enough to save the economy either. So the Trump administration is going to have to come up with new ways, clever new ways, to push a bunch of money back into the hands of the people to stimulate spending without looking like they're dropping money from helicopters. So I call this covert QE. Covert QE. So they got to find a way to push money into the hands of people kind of, under the table, make it look like, oh, we're just giving them their own money back for health insurance. Okay, whatever. Oh, we're just giving them a dividend on tariffs. Okay. What's next? Tax refunds. Tax refunds. Yeah. As the U.S. economy continues to absolutely implode, eventually, and this is going to be a very popular thing, of course, eventually the White House is going to have to say, hey, we've come up with a great new idea. We're going to refund all your taxes. All the tax money that you paid last year, of course, under a certain income amount. It might be people who make less than $200,000 or whatever. We're going to give you all your income tax money back. A refund, a tax refund of everything. But again, it's your own money. They already stole it from you. And they made you comply with all their insane tax code, wasting all kinds of time and money and effort. So they're going to give you back some of your money and say, hey, aren't we great? Don't you love Uncle Sam now? Or Uncle Trump now, because we gave you your own money back in another way. And then people are going to cheer, yay, vote for Trump. He's giving us money. Yeah, it's your own money that they took from you. So then, again, people are going to go out and buy hookers and crack galore if they paid a lot of taxes. It's like hookers and crack for a week or whatever people are into. Again, maybe that's an outmoded version of this story. Maybe these days it's not hookers and crack. Maybe it's like furries and ketamine or something, I have no idea. But whatever people are into, furries and ketamine, okay. Have fun, whatever. But again, what Trump is going to find, and Besant also, they're going to find that, hey, guess what? The economy still sucks. People are still losing their jobs. Businesses are going bankrupt like never before. I mean, the economy is a raging dumpster fire. I mean, this is the way it's going, obviously, because, of course, the supply chains have all been destroyed by Trump's tariffs. And, the economy is imploding. People are spending less money. And inflation on food and health insurance and everything else, rent, increased costs on all those things is going to take away more income from people to the point where they're not going to buy as much, discretionary goods. Instead, they're doing everything they can just to afford the cost of living, just basic living, rent, food, car, gas, insurance, whatever. And even that is becoming increasingly difficult for a lot of people. So the economy is still not going to recover. So what's Trump going to do at that point? Well, they're going to offer multi-year tax refunds. So another form of quantitative easing. And they'll have some, I don't know, some, justification for it. They don't want to call it QE. So they'll have some other name. It's the America's dividend or something, We're giving you money back on something. It's your own money they're giving you back. So they'll start refunding the previous year and then maybe another year before that. And before long, they'll be giving people back, multiple years of federal income taxes. And they won't do this for the corporations because corporations don't vote in elections. They'll do it only for the people because the people vote. And they'll try to tie this to the GOP brand in order to not lose the midterms next year. It's going to be an all out, just like a festival of free money, QE, nationwide, probably. This is my guess. So they'll just be handing out money to people in all kinds of different ways. Well, everybody's going to be happy in the short term. And then fast forward 12 months or 18 months, guess what's going to happen? Oh, inflation will be way worse. Because, of course, the inflation that we're living through right now is due to all the money that was handed out during COVID. Yes, all that trillions of dollars in stimulus money and the massive expansion of the M2 money supply. Yeah. Well, guess what? The chickens come home to roost. In this case, they are inflation chickens. And they're roosting on your wallet or your bank account. So, yeah, money printing, it's not immune to the laws of economic cause and effect. If you print money and push it out there, it's going to cause inflation. So whatever Trump and Bessent do over the next year or two, massive QE, it's going to cause massive inflation. And as it does that, it means rapid devaluation of the dollar. Think about this. Devaluation of the dollar. Well, what does that do to the value of dollar-denominated debt, such as, let's say, treasury bonds that are held by foreign nations and foreign central banks? What happens to the value of those treasuries when the dollar is devalued? Well, of course, obviously, because those treasuries have a fixed payoff in dollars, the treasuries become increasingly worthless, and eventually they go to almost zero. And so China right now is sitting on something like $800 billion of treasuries, or whatever the number is. It's less than $1 trillion. The purchasing power of that 800 billion could easily be cut in half just over a couple of years of massive QE. So in other words, China and other countries that hold U.S. debt, and that includes Japan, that includes Germany, etc., they're going to say, well, what's the point of holding U.S. debt? And at some point, there's going to be a U.S. debt fire sale. Everybody's just going to dump the dollar because the dollar is becoming worthless because of all the money printing and the QE domestically. So in other words, Trump's policies domestically to try to please the American people are going to cause a mass dumping of the dollar internationally. And the mass dumping of the dollar will lead to global embracing of anyone? Bueller? BRICS currencies. That's right, or BRICS settlement systems. There's not really an official BRICS currency yet, but there are BRICS settlement systems. And they're building out a system that will settle currency imbalances in gold, which appeals to everybody on the planet because everybody loves gold and knows that gold has value, etc. So if you're in a country somewhere in the world, like, I don't know, Brazil, let's say, do you want to hold U.S. treasuries? You want to buy treasuries? Even though the dollar keeps losing value at an accelerated rate and the U.S. government is bankrupt, probably going to default on all its debt and the dollar is going to be worthless? Or if you're Brazil, would you rather buy gold and sit on some gold in some audited vaults as part of the BRICS settlement system where you can engage in trade with nations like China and Russia and Iran and Turkey and whoever else? I mean, seriously, what are you going to do? You're not going to buy U.S. treasuries, are you? Not a chance. Nobody in their right mind is going to buy treasuries. And that's when the treasuries are not sellable. anymore. Nobody will buy US debt other than the Federal Reserve that prints the money to buy essentially its own debt, or it's like a snake eating its own tail, which leads to catastrophic outcomes. So that's where all this is headed, folks. At some point, the United States Treasury defaults on its debt in either one of two ways. Either it is, number one, an official default where they announce that we're not paying anybody back, although I don't think that's the most likely case. Or the second way is they just keep printing and printing and devaluing the dollar to the point where there is a valuation default of the treasuries. In other words, the treasuries become nearly worthless anyway, and whoever's holding them is like, ripping them up and flushing them down the toilet. Is not worth the paper it's printed on. Well, it's not even printed on paper. It's not worth the digits in the binary storage systems that is stored on, or whatever they say. It's like the treasuries are worthless. So yeah, that day is coming. And when that day comes, obviously you don't want to be holding dollars because you'll lose everything. You'll just like anybody holding treasuries is just going to lose everything. And it's very possible, in my mind anyway, that this last chapter, this wave of QE, is going to break the system. It's going to completely devalue the dollar to the point where everybody abandons it, or almost everybody. And at that point, the only winners in this game are going to be those that have gold and silver. That's it. Or, perhaps other currencies that are doing well. But gold and silver the prices have been pretty volatile lately. But silver, I'm looking at it right now, it was as high as $54 a few days ago. It's now just under 50. It's been hovering right around 50, bouncing around, which is still very high compared to where it was just a couple of years ago. But silver is now moving up or down $2 a day in some cases. And gold is currently above 4,000, but it's also bouncing around quite a bit. And it could drop below 4,000. If you have gold and silver, you're probably very happy with what its value is today compared to, where it was when you bought it. It's probably gone up substantially in dollars and other currencies. Where is it going from here? I don't know. I really don't know. But I will say this, if the dollar collapses, then gold and silver are going to skyrocket in value compared to the dollar. That's obvious. I mean, that's just math. So gold and silver, if you've got some, hold on to it. If you have extra cash that you want to save, you really want to make sure you have it, you might want to consider getting more gold and silver. Possibly, but I don't know what's the best price to enter. I can't read the tea leaves on that. I have no idea. I've often said it's best to just sort of buy a little bit every month, dollar cost average into it. I can't determine the bottom of a new wave or the top peak or anything. Who knows? Somebody else with a lot more money is controlling the pricing, really. But if you want to survive all this inflation that's coming, consider gold and silver, and consider even more. If you want to check our sponsor on that, just go to metalswithmike.com, and that'll take you to the Battalion Metals Company that we've worked with those guys and that family for many, many years now. High trust, high integrity operation with great pricing. metalswithmike.com. But, should you buy at this price? I have no idea. I paid $30 an ounce for silver earlier this year. I talked about it on the podcast. So can I pay $50 now when I paid $30 earlier this year? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's just, it's wild to think about that. But one thing I know for sure in all of this is that this musical chairs game that is being played with the currency, eventually the music stops. And when it does, there aren't enough chairs, not for half the people. So be careful playing musical chairs with currency. Be very careful. And I don't know when this ends, but you know, the alarm bells are ringing right now. Okay, I want to play a video for you that is a little bit shocking here. Now, you know that the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, he, of course, is not going to be the mayor any longer because Mamdani won the election. And I'm sure Mamdani is going to provide all kinds of comedy and commentary for us for the next couple of years, however long his term lasts. I can't wait to report on the latest, socialist innovation in New York City, like, government-run grocery stores where all the shelves are empty. That's going to be loads of fun to report on that. Hey, everything's affordable in the store. It's just that there's nothing there. Price controls on bread. Every loaf of bread is $1. Well, when's the next load coming in? Well, June, because we're having a hard time getting the bread makers to sell us loaves for $1 a loaf, it turns out. So that's backed up until June. So, you just have to wait on your sandwiches till June. We're going to have all kinds of stories like that. I can't wait. Mamdani, he's like the endless.
You know how Dave Chappelle was talking about Rick James, bitch, fuck your couch, nigga. That's kind of how he is. Fuck your porch, nigga.
Fountain of comedy for podcasters. But Eric Adams himself is almost competing for that role at the moment because he just went to Israel and he said something in Israel that has everybody just totally shocked. And I'm going to play the video for you because you're not going to believe it. It's only 30 seconds. But listen to what he says in Israel. Okay, check this out.
My male team here in Israel. And as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you.
Nigga, what the fuck is this? Wait a second.
Thank you. Well, that's what my male team here in Israel. And as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to.
Ain't you supposed to serve the people of New York, nigga?
Have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? He said, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor. And everybody's like, what? 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 No, seriously. What? So when you're the mayor of New York City, you're serving Israel? Not New York City citizens? New Yorkers would be the correct term, yeah. You're supposed to serve New Yorkers, okay? Clearly, like the mayor of Boston should serve the people of Boston, not Israel. I mean, in fact, I put out a post on this. I'm just going from memory, but I said, look, okay, so, the president of China puts China first. The president of Russia puts Russia first. The prime minister of Japan puts Japan first, But for some reason, the president of the United States puts Israel first. It's like, what's wrong with this picture? If you're elected to it.
I can appreciate that comment, Nanya, for sure. But I think they brought ass. Look around. They brought ass. You dig?
Nation or a city or as a senator, you're supposed to represent your people, obviously. And why is this even debatable? Why is this controversial to say this? You're supposed to represent the people that voted you into office. You're supposed to represent the people there. But instead, all of these politicians now, they are worshiping a foreign nation. And in Texas, we have Senator Ted Cruz. I'm sorry to say. We have another horrible senator, Senator Cornyn. They're both just awful, actually. Neither one, in my view, represents the people of Texas. And we just learned that Ted Cruz looks like he's going to make another run for president. Can you imagine? Ted Cruz, the zero charisma candidate. He's going to do a rerun of Bob Dole. Was that 1996? Was that the Bob Dole race? I remember that because I was like, it's Bob Dole versus Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, no matter what you think of his politics, right? He was a cool cat. He was sexy. He was energetic. He played the saxophone. He smoked doobies. He was the cool kid. He had charisma. He had hair, right? Which counts on TV. I mean, Bill Clinton was the cool cat. Bob Dole was like the crypt keeper. He was like, I'm Bob Dole. I'm Bob Dole. Now, and I'm not saying anything bad about his character. Don't get me wrong. Bob Dole served honorably. I mean, clearly Bob Dole had way better ethics and values compared to Bill Clinton, right? I'm just commenting about the charisma factor. But people don't vote based on someone's integrity, obviously. I mean, how did Bill Clinton get elected?
Booty? They brought booty?
People vote based on
wow.
it's a popularity contest. It's how good do you look on TV? Do you sound good? Because look, how did Mamdani get voted in? If you walk around New York City, you ask people, like, which of his policies do you support? People have no idea. They're like, we don't know, man. He's just cool. He's just cool. He's just like, I just love what he says, It's like, well, what policies does he have that you agree with? We don't know. We don't care. Doesn't matter. What policies? What policies? That's the way it is in New York. And that's also the way it was with Obama. Remember back in 2008, everybody voted for Obama. Why? Because he's just cool. And he's black. And he's fun. And he talks good. And just all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with any kind of policy. It was like, he's just cool. And he can shoot hoops with people and everything. He's just, we like his vibe. Okay, well, that's what wins elections. Senator Ted Cruz is never.
Peace, brother Nasir. Peace.
Going to win on charisma. He's like if there were an inverse parallel reality where charisma could be inverted to its upside down phase, that face would look just like Ted Cruz. It's like the opposite of charisma. And, he grew a beard to try to look. I mean, I hate to comment about people's physical looks, but he grew a beard thinking it would help him look more manly, and it didn't. It just made him look more creepy, actually. And his policies are creepy. And his entire loyalty is to Israel, not to Texas and not to America. So if the GOP ends up running Ted Cruz for president, it's going to be Bob Dole 2.0. And the Democrats are going to win almost no matter who they run, as long as they just run somebody with hair, hair on the top of their head, which Democrats usually have in excess. Just a Democrat hairdo will get you elected against Ted Cruz. And who in the Democrat lineup has hair? Governor Newsom. Yeah, that's right. Newsom has hair. He's got the do. So he could beat Ted Cruz in an election, no problem, just because of his hair. But I kind of doubt we're even going to make it to 2028. But then again, I'm shocked we made it this far. So who knows? But if the dollar doesn't collapse by 2028, which is highly, when I'm looking at like the rise of AI and the collapse of the economy and how human jobs are getting replaced so rapidly and the risk of world war and infrastructure failures in the USA, etc., I have very little confidence that as a nation we make it all the way to 2028. I may be wrong. Sometimes we are more resilient than I expect. But if we make it all the way to 2028, who on the GOP could even run for president that isn't already hated by most of the country? Think about it. And when millions of people lose their jobs under Trump's economy, when millions of people are replaced by AI and some robots, and small businesses are destroyed nationwide, and there's troops in the streets of the cities and cracking down on all your privacy and your Fourth Amendment rights are obliterated and everything, everybody in America is going to hate the GOP. And it's almost like what Trump is doing is some kind of a political suicide pact. It's like, hey, let's all drink the Kool-Aid. They're all committing political suicide and opening the door for Democrats to come into power in 2028. And who could they run? Michelle Obama, maybe Hillary. Oh, I don't know. Oh, no, she's not. She doesn't have charisma. It's probably going to be Newsom or somebody like that. That's the bottom line. So again, if we even make it that far, which in my view is highly doubtful anyway. Oh boy. Oh, don't forget that Trump is also going to make the GLP-1 drug injections more affordable. So if you're looking to paralyze your vagus nerve, Trump's going to make it cost less. You know, if you want to, this is some kind of slow medically assisted suicide type thing going on. It's like, what is it? What is it with Trump that he's always pushing vaccines or injections or pharmaceuticals or Pfizer, this and that, but never anything that's actually good for people, huh? It doesn't want Americans to be healthy, to have longevity. You know, if you want to achieve positive results in your own health, your own life, your own longevity, protection of your cognition, healthy aging, etc., you're going to have to do that yourself. No government wants you to live longer. Seriously, no corporation wants you to stay healthy, especially not in the sick care industry, which is almost a quarter of the U.S. GDP. They don't want you to be healthy. They want you to stay sick. Even the food industry, they don't want you eating healthy food. They want you to get addicted to unhealthy food that you keep having to purchase over and over again because they put the addiction chemicals in it.
It seems
Meanwhile,
so,
you know, your health is deteriorating to the point where the doctor tells you need pharmaceuticals. You get on the pharmaceuticals, and then they have side effects. You need another pharmaceutical. And then all of a sudden, like, you can't exercise like you used to. You start putting on a bunch of weight. And Trump says, oh, don't worry, we'll make these injections cheaper so you can just paralyze your vagus nerve and, you know, to stop your stomach from emptying after you eat. Because that's called health in America now, is to paralyze your nerve so your stomach doesn't empty so that the food rots longer. Yay, healthcare. Oh, man. What does it come to, folks? And then, you know, you got Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff for Trump, and she was an executive with Mercury Public Affairs, and Mercury had clients like Pfizer and Gilead and the Gavi Vaccine Alliance and clients like pesticide companies and junk food companies, processed food companies, just like the worst poisoners in the world, in my view. And that's who controls Trump's schedule. So, mystery solved. That's why you're never going to get anything out of Trump that promotes good health, because Susie Wiles is the gatekeeper, and all of her ties from the past, you know, even she ran the campaign for Netanyahu in 2020. All her ties that I can find are to organizations, or most of them are what I would consider to be poisoners of our health, poisoners of our nation. That's who controls Trump, or at least his schedule. So there you go. And what does she have over his head? I don't know, probably something big, because he does whatever she tells him. And remember, she used to work for Netanyahu, so, you know, connect the dots, huh? Not that difficult. Well, you know, stay tuned. It's going to get interesting, that's for sure. Also, by the way, thank you, all of you who shopped with us over the Black Friday sale that we just had. And we had a great outpouring of support. Again, thank you so much. And those of you who purchase over a certain dollar amount, you'll be receiving an email with book generation tokens that you'll be able to use coming soon at Brighteon Books. That's coming just in a matter of some number of days. You wouldn't believe the small details I'm fine-tuning on that project right now, but small things like the PDF packager is placing the footer in the wrong place at the bottom of the page. It's like, okay, please, can a PDF packager just put the footer where it belongs, you know, instead of too high or too low or off the page or on the next page? Just put it at the bottom of the page. Like, I'm wrestling with small little details like that at the moment, but otherwise the engine is doing great. And I showed you one of the books yesterday that I generated with the engine. I can't wait to use it myself. Anyway, that'll be opening up to you very soon if you have a token or multiple tokens. Remember, each token is usable for one book. And a token is, I think it's a 16-character string of letters. And you'll just paste it in. You know, we'll be emailing you your tokens, and then you can paste in the token and use it for generating a book. And we're only opening up to token holders at first for the first pilot phase of this. So watch for that announcement coming soon. I think you'll really enjoy that. So far, the engine is doing great stuff on it. And I'm adding additional documents into the index every single day. So the number of documents that it searches through in order to research your book continues to grow massively. And by January, there's going to be millions more in there. So very cool stuff going on. But anyway, if you did place an order with us, thank you for your patience. It's going to take us a few days to catch up, and we appreciate you having patience, because, you know, we're not Amazon. We don't have robots all over the place.
What blood clot video? You talking about died suddenly? Didn't I play that shit before? With all the fiber-rich clots and all that shit. No, that ain't on the menu right now.
We have a great crew, and they're working hard. But it is going to take a few days, so just have patience, and we'll email you your tracking number, etc., when your order gets shipped. All right, so thank you again. All right, with that said, here comes today's interview. This is a great one. This is a decentralized TV episode, full episode.
I'm about
interview
done
with
with
Martin,
this
and then
one.
about 30 minutes with Todd and I.
Got another one.
Usually going
run.
off the rails in some way. That for some reason people enjoy that segment because we get a little tipsy for some reason. But that's what's coming up next. And then I'll be back with you tomorrow with another intriguing interview. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you will find
I
it
ain't watched
very
all this whole
intriguing.
video, so
Almost.
I don't know.
Like a James Bond script. That's what's coming tomorrow. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Anyway, enjoy the interview today, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. Take care.
Oh man, I
Let me
hope that
see
in
what
the
they
future
talking about
we will
first.
look back at this time and it's like, wow, we were subhumans. Maybe just like we talk about the ancient people. That's what I would like to contribute to a world where, hey, we've given up that scarcity, competitive mindset and turned to empowering everybody. Just a bright future, like we dream about as little kids. That's there for everybody. Just rewire. I mean, we literally have to rewire our brains to this different way of thinking.
Decentralized, don't compromise. Be unauthorized. Decentralized.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, TEP. I think I played that shit before. I don't know. Last time I played some shit like that, they took my video down, but then I sent them the proper response, and they put my shit right back up. So I'll keep that little email wording in the cut. Anytime they want to take a video down over some bullshit, I give it to them. I want to hear what this dude talking about for a second before I get into this other video.
Decentralized, got to realize, don't decarbonize. Decentralized.
Welcome to Decentralized TV from the new Brighteon Studios here in Texas. I'm Mike Adams, joined today with my guest, Todd Pittner. Welcome, Todd, to the show. And do you like the new studio, by the way?
Man, oh man, it looks great. When you first, that opening shot of Decentralized TV, that is a wow. I can't wait to see it in person.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to come here and visit. And of course, we'll shoot episodes in person. But yeah, hey, to my crew, go ahead, show that camera angle again. Let's show the audience a couple of different angles here of what we have going on. Yeah, give us camera 6. There we go. Yep, that's the big shot. And then do you have like a full wide shot? Oh, that's a side. Okay, side angle. That's interesting. You have like a wide shot from the front, or what do we have? Or from a different angle? We don't have anything set up for today because the cameras are pointed at the other guest that we had 2 days ago. So anyway, you get the idea. It's a whole new studio setup.
I get the idea. And Mike, I know you have been so actively building out that studio and hard at work and you have so many initiatives going on. I just want to let you know, I think it's been about 3 weeks since.
Oh, that video. Okay, hold on. I'll play that. Yeah, I'll play that one real quick. Diabolical.
We're getting a clot out of her outflow vein. Look at that.
Yummy. Yummy
You said
in
you
my
had the Pfizer
tummy.
vaccine, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That could be the spike protein hydrogel clots. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you on the TP? Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what
How do you
they're
feel
pulling out
getting
of
that
people. They really pulling that
It's a
shit
relief,
out.
right?
Oh my God.
Get
those
more.
blowout.
Flight to California, from Canada, it's
documentaries.
all worth it.
It's something.
Oh, we're getting a clot out
Pretty
of
rough.
her
It's pretty rough.
outflow vein.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Look at that.
Yummy. Yep, yummy again. Sheesh.
We recorded an episode and I missed you, man.
I know I missed it on the show too. That's why I'm looking forward so much to today's guest, who I think is
man,
going to be the perfect fit for the show. It's like we should have had him on day one.
I know. Everybody, go to your dictionary and look up decentralized.tv, and this guest, his face is going to be right next to it. You'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, so we're going to bring in our amazing guest here today. Todd, are you ready for this one?
I am. We actually had a viewer of DTV message me about our guest and said, you must have him on. And I did my bit of due diligence and I messaged you and Signal and I said, we must have him on.
Absolutely.
The rest is history. I can't wait for everybody to just enjoy. You want to talk about, if you open up the dictionary and you found the word decentralization, decentralization stud, our guest's picture is right.
And I found out in researching our guest, I found out, and I remember that I had seen his speeches from 2011 and 2012 and so on, and I thought it was the best idea ever. So we're going to bring him on. It's Marcin Jakubowski, and he is with Open Source Ecology, and he's got events coming up, and he's got lots of new things coming up. So Marcin, welcome to the show. It's a great honor to have you on today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we love what you are all about, which is decentralization, open source.
Pull that portion up in a different live stream. I want to get to this one now. His old boy is talking some shit, and I like the way he's talking.
Welcome, everybody, to this special weekend edition of Brighteon.com. And I'm joined by Michael Yan, who's joining us presently from Japan to talk about what's going on in the world. Michael is just one of the most insightful and accurate analysts, and of course, a war correspondent and many other things. Welcome, Michael. It's great to have you back on.
Oh, thanks, Michael. I'm just back home. Masako and I were up with a bear hunter, checking out the bear situation in Japan, which has become quite intense. The bears have been attacking a lot of people this year, and killing quite a few as well.
So there's a bear apocalypse in rural Japan, or I didn't realize there were so many bears there.
Oh, it's huge, and it's kind of dominating the news now. Actually, like we went out for a walk this morning. You could hear on the public announcement system. They were warning people about bears, and then these three older Japanese ladies walked by, and one of them had a bell, ding ding ding. There's so many bears. About in 2023, we went up to northern Japan. We were studying famine. And so we went to this one area up there, Yonezawa, that is, has some history of famine. And we looked for a bear hunter, and we found one because we thought this rewilding thing was going to, like we've seen it take off in Netherlands and so many other places, the rewilding. In other words, next thing you know, you got a bunch of wolves or bears or coyotes or whatever, right? And so in Japan, the rewilding has become quite intense. I mean, there's a lot of monkeys and hogs and deer and bear that are out there in huge populations now. And actually, there was just a graphic recently that that has been released here in Japan, and you can just see the huge amount of bear attacks that are unfolding. In any case, we saw this bear hunter a couple of years ago, talked with him for all afternoon, actually. And then we asked a few days ago if we could see him again, because we saw him in the news in addition to all the huge amount of bear attacks. And he told us, we were just at his house, actually, eating bear, and he said that he's killed 50 bears since April. Just April, and that's just him. In fact, he just got into a fight with one bear, scratched his sleeve. I've got the photo actually, and he kicked the bear and then he shot it. Another broke into a hotel last week, and the bear was occupying the hotel. The hotel had been shut down. Yeah, so the police surrounded the hotel, and anyway, he was called in, and he had CQB with the bear, actually killed it. And
wow. That would be called the Bear B&B, I think would be.
Yeah, the Bear B&B, and it was a CQB with the bear. And and so he said, he now the Japanese police and the Japanese Self-Defense Force are asking him to train them on how to deal with these bears.
Wow!
And even as we were talking with, so usually he goes out with his rifle or a shotgun and he hunts, and he's been doing this since. He said the first time he went bear hunting was when he was 4 years old on his grandfather's back, and so he's a fourth generation bear hunter. But there's so many bears now. Actually, he's a rice farmer, actually. But, on a side thing, he hunts bears. But the thing is the sort of side thing has taken off because the bears are so intense. So the Japanese police and Self-Defense Force have asked him to start running training for them. And again, while we were talking with him, he put these traps out now, because normally he goes with rifle or shotgun or whatever, but now he's got traps. And even as we were talking with him, an app went off on his phone that he had just caught a bear. He's like, "Oh, I just caught a bear right now." He was saying, "This is where the bear is."
So the rewilding that's happening in Japan, I believe, is also indicative of the demographic population collapse of Japan that is happening as well. And I wanted to actually talk to you about that, ask you this question. In Japan, there's a strong emphasis on using robots over the long term to help with the aging population. And I'm sorry to change the subject so much, but do you hear talk in Japan of robotics and robots coming in to help elderly?
We see them all the time, and we see the robots just like the little cleaning or a lawnmower or that sort of thing. But there are a lot of babies here. Masako and I talk about that all the time. As we were jumping on the train to come down, there was a lady with 3 young babies, and it's like, there's. I mean, I'm not just saying 3. I mean, we see huge amounts of children here. It's not just like there's something doesn't seem right. I guess it's like a joke for Masako and me going, oh, there's no children here, and yet we're like seeing 20 right now, in one eye shot in the mall or something. There are little children everywhere. So it's not like nobody's having babies. And I can't trust any government at this point to give accurate statistics. And again, I'm not saying that they're reaching a replenishment rate. I just don't know. But the idea that this place doesn't have children is completely false. There's a lot of them. And now the farmers are aging out. Like the farmers, I think the average age of the farmers now might be 72ish, something like that. And they're, young Japanese are not going into farming. It doesn't mean that the demographic is collapsing, but they're also using the aging thing as a sort of casus belli, you might say, to open the borders and to allow, like they've got estimated almost 1 million Chinese here now, and lots of Vietnamese and people from Africa and Kurds and whatnot as well.
And
it's
quite interesting on work visas.
There's moving in. I mean, they're buying, like the Chinese are buying up farm. Just imagine everything that you see Chinese doing in Texas. That's what they're doing here. Like buying.
Are they legal residents? Because Japan.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot are. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can't just walk across a border into Japan, obviously. So I'm just wondering if there's a big illegal immigration problem, or is it all legal?
I don't know what the percentage is, versus, visa overstay or that sort of thing, or if any are coming up on the beaches at night, which would be easy to do. But there are a lot of Chinese. That's funny. When we were at the bear hunter a couple nights ago, and, I asked him jokingly, can those bear traps be used to trap the people that are invading our countries? And he laughed. And then, there was another bear hunter, as well there. And they mentioned about how much stuff the Chinese are stealing up there. Chinese are stealing metals. They're stealing that, as happens a lot when people, there's metals from wires, metals from fences, whatever. Chinese, they were very clear about this. I got it on video. Chinese stealing it and selling it to other Chinese here in Japan. Huh. They were very clear about who's doing it. It was Chinese doing it and Chinese stealing and Chinese selling to Chinese. That's what they said. Got it on video, actually.
Okay. Wow. Interesting cultural update there. Let's shift gears to the United States. As you recall, earlier this year, Trump announced Liberation Day, which involved putting out massive tariffs on all kinds of goods coming into the country. And then that caused, of course, a lot of domestic goods to become much more expensive, causing inflation that the White House denied. But then just today, the White House is announcing Operation Affordability, where they're going to cut tariffs on things like coffee and beef and bananas to try to lower food prices. But this is the same White House that told us that putting tariffs in place did not raise prices. Now they say cutting tariffs will lower prices. This makes no economic sense. What do you think is going on with Trump's tariffs and now this apparent, desperation pivot here to try to lower prices?
I was just talking with Matt Smith about this and Doug Casey just literally a few hours ago.
Oh, I'm sure Doug must have had very interesting comments about this.
Yeah. Those both of them are quite brilliant, as you know. And
yes.
and we were literally just talking about this. I mentioned to him, Trump is very easy to predict. You can when you're assessing people, you can see people that are very similar to you, and you can see your opposite very easily. You can, like, the opposite pop off the page, and the similar, somebody that's very much like you pops off page. And Trump is like that to me. He's like my opposite. He just pops off the page. He's like a X-ray reverse of me, right? So when I see him, I can like see his bones almost. So how do I predict Trump so well? Look at anything I've written on Trump from 10 years, anything, just throw a dart, pick 20, 50 things and see how they've turned out. How they've turned out is incredibly accurate. How do I do it? I just look at what I would do and pick the opposite. And it's amazingly predictive. And now, how does Trump look to me in my paradigm, which is a very usable paradigm? In other words, if you use this paradigm, it will return accurate predictions, or it does for me. And that is, if you imagine that Trump is actually a traitor, right? If you look at him as a traitor and he's working for somebody else and he's selling off the United States, it all makes perfect sense. And you'll see that it's very predictable. So just experiment with this for a couple of months. I'm just going to imagine Trump is a traitor and he's selling off the United States. Watch how accurate you become. You'll be amazingly accurate with this visa thing with the Indians and the Chinese. You'll be amazingly accurate about a lot of things. And it's just predictive. Just experiment with it and see if it works. It works.
That's wild. But yeah, even his own base is really beginning to question, or maybe they're past that at this point. Many are seeing him as betraying MAGA and betraying Maha. And even I've gone public calling for Susie Wiles to resign. She's Trump's gatekeeper. She used to work for Mercury Public Affairs. Their clients were Pfizer, Gilead, the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, Nestle, all the big food companies. Netanyahu she worked for. She ran Netanyahu's campaign in 2020. It's like the who's who of the most evil people and corporations in the world. She's his chief of staff. So she's the gatekeeper. What do you think about that?
It won't do any good to fire her, because if you experiment with this idea, watch how accurate it is, because this paradigm was accurate before she came onto the scene. Trump himself is a traitor. If you experiment with that and just imagine that he is a traitor and he's selling off America, you're going to see that that is highly predictive of the moves that he makes, that he's both destroying America and selling it off. He's clearly doing this. It's amazingly obvious. And it's nakedly obvious that that's what he's doing. He's destroying America and he's selling it. He's a traitor.
So who's he working for then, you think?
Zionist. Same people that shot Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk jumped and he was a Christian Zionist and he's dead, right? I mean, it's clearly Zionist. It's, again, amazingly obvious.
Okay, but what would be the Zionist motivation for seeing America destroyed when America provides so much free money for Israel?
That's a good question for which I do not have an answer, but it's quite clear that that's what they're doing. I can't read their mind. It looks like it's highly self-destructive. They're in that Cipolle book, the laws of human stupidity. You've seen that book before? I'm in the book, the basic laws of human stupidity. I had it here. I must have moved it. But the basic laws of human stupidity is a beautiful little book, and it talks about the 4 quadrants of people. It looks like it's almost a satire of a book, but you'll see how accurate it is. And he divides people into four quadrants. I made this out of a box of a book that I had come in recently. This is his quadrants. Smart people stay in quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is you help yourself and you help others. Like you'll do things that help others and you help yourself. Quadrant 2, where I stay too much in, is you help others but you don't help yourself. So that's the helpless group, is what he says. And so quadrant 3, that's the thugs, Zionists. That's the thugs who are predatory. So they help themselves. They don't care if they help you or hurt you. Quadrant 4, this is where most people are. This is stupid. They hurt themselves and help others. This is according to the author of the book. Quadrant 4 is, so I call this the Zionist line. They operate here. They operate in the thug and stupid line because what they're doing is self-destructive. For instance, the whole jab thing. When we're gone, who's going to be there to protect the Zionists from the Chinese? And the Zionists and the Chinese are clearly fighting. The Zionists and the Chinese are fighting over Panama and Argentina as examples. They're fighting over the United States. But the thing is once we're dead, because they've jabbed up everybody, this is clearly killing a huge amount, and other things that they're doing, there's not going to be anybody left to defend the Zionists. And we can all see that. That would put them in quadrant 4. A lot of them are in the stupid quadrant because they're getting what they want, which is to kill us off for whatever reasons that they want it. And then they're going to be left defenseless. And if the Chinese are the last man standing, the Chinese are going to kick their butts. That's the way it's heading to at this point. The Chinese have greater numbers, obviously. Of course, that could change with biological warfare or something like that.
There is an apocalyptic end times cult mentality among Zionists, who many of whom believe that they need the whole world to turn against them because they believe
it's working.
The destruction of the temple, and then they think God is going to save them at the end. They believe
professional victims. They're professional victims, and as you know, professional victims are always professional predators. Professional victims are very dangerous, and this happens at an individual level and at a cultural level. There are entire cultures that are professional victims, and of course, and we've all known professional victims. What will they do? First chance they get, stab you in the back. Even if it hurts them, it's just some very primitive, very feral sort of firmware. It's like a cultural firmware that is highly self-destructive. Not very advanced. It's, sort of slimy. I mean, when I say slimy, I mean that level of life form, right? I mean, because it literally grows over. It's a parasitoid. The parasitoid is a parasite that kills the host. They literally kill the host. They're literally, and keep in mind, most of the Zionists in the United States are Christians. It's Christian Zionists. And yet they're still behaving in a way to save the magical elves of Israel. They're behaving in a way that kills the United States and themselves. It's amazing how this is unfolding.
So this may explain then Susie Wiles, because she worked for Netanyahu, and now, in my view, she's destroying the Trump administration and destroying America. Or I mean, she's contributing to patterns of destruction of Trump's "Make America Great Again" agenda. But maybe she's still strongly influenced by Netanyahu. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
But keep in mind that even if she's gone, Trump is still that thing himself. They're part of the same body. They're cells. They're cells of the same body. I mean, getting rid of her, she'll just be replaced by somebody else. And Trump is that thing to begin with.
Got it.
And so it doesn't.
Yeah, well, she's only there with his permission. You're right. So he chose her.
Right.
So she must be aligned with what he wants to happen.
Right. And keep in mind, Trump and Netanyahu are both severe jab pushers. They still stick with it. Trump is still pushing the jab. As of the last 24 hours, Trump still pushes the jab, right? He was just talking about how he got his flu shot or whatever. He did that recently. And so, right. I mean, he's still sticking with the jab. And this is, November of 2025. Fauci didn't fool him. When these and brainwashing, there's something called supplied answers. In other words, when these objections that somebody may have about something, you'll have an answer that's supplied to you. For instance, let's say, hey, Japan has opened the doors to just unfettered migration, quote unquote. Why? And people say because their population's in decline. That's why. That's a supplied answer. That just pops out. They go, because the population's in decline. Whether or not that's true or not is unknown. But even if so, even if the population is in decline, why then would you want to replace Japanese, the most advanced people out here, with Somalis? You know what I mean? Why would you want to replace them with Nigerian call scammers, right? It doesn't make sense. It's all about destroying Japan. It's all about destroying Europe, United States, Australia, the whole works, including Thailand. Thailand also is being destroyed. It's not just It's not. It's quite a lot of countries.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is a globalist agenda that's anti-human, for sure. But let me bring us back to now the Trump administration saying after the lockdowns or the shutdown has ended, they're now saying that they cannot release the economic numbers from October. They will never release them because they say that the shutdown destroyed their number tracking system, which I've called the dog ate my homework excuse for the federal government. But what do you make of that? I mean, is it so bad?
Scumbag liars. I mean, how many times do we have to say Epstein Island, Epstein Island, Epstein Island? They are what they are. You know what I mean? It's just that a crocodile is a crocodile, and Trump is a traitor. You know, you can't look at a crocodile and go, well, you know, the crocodile has to be a good guy because the alligator is going to eat me. You know what I mean? So therefore, I vote for crocodile. You know, it's like, good crocodile. You're a good puppy. You're a good puppy. You're not a puppy. You're a crocodile. You're going to bite my arm off. They're going to eat me, right? That's what Trump is doing. He's a crocodile. The other guy was an alligator. The other guy was a cobra, right? I mean, and yet there's this idea. It's a very simple and primitive idea that because that one is bad and scary, I should worship this one like a god and write it, and raise it up. Therefore, Biden is terrible. Therefore, Trump, who jabbed and killed millions of people and who sends billions of dollars to Israel, and while Americans are living under bridges and on fentanyl and whatnot, he is clearly a traitor. It's that obvious. Susie Wiles, she's just incidental into this ecosystem, and at this rate, the United States is going to be destroyed. It will be destroyed not because Trump is so tough. He always says, "You knew I was a snake." He reads that poem, right? You knew I was a snake when you picked me up. He's saying who he is. He's saying it crystal clear. And it won't be when America gets destroyed. At this rate, the United States definitely will be destroyed. At this rate, the United States will be destroyed, not because Trump and Israel are so strong, not because the Zionists or the Chinese are so strong. It's because Americans are watching dope heads like Joe Rogan and smoking dope and acting like idiots and not manning up and not saying that's enough. Not only will I not support you, I will stand in your way, right? And standing in your way doesn't mean picking up firearms or that sort of thing. It can mean just not going along with it. Don't get on the train, right? Don't write, checks to Trump and his ecosystem. Don't support countries who are clear parasitoids to us. That would be Israel specifically. That's who I'm talking about. I don't want to beat around the bush, right? I don't want to be crypto about it. Israel is not our ally. They are a straight up enemy. They've killed Americans. They killed Charlie Kirk. They shot up the USS Liberty. Let's face it. That's what it is, right? We have to just be realistic about this. And the Americans that are going along with this they're inside the wire. They're the things that jumped out of the Trojan horse. I mean, they literally are teamed up with Trump, the traitor, which makes them traitors. At some point, listen, cowards are always traitors. Cowards are always traitors. That's just the nature of a coward. Every coward contains right on the surface the seeds of traitors. And the people that, since they're afraid of something else, they're going to just snuggle up to Trump like sycophants. They're going to snuggle up to a pathological narcissist. They're killing us. It's these cowards that enable him. It's not him. He doesn't have any power without the millions of cowards that still stick with him. And that's what they are. And they always threaten me. I'll never support you again. I'm like, bye. Get out of here. I don't want your support. You're killing my country. You're killing me. You're killing your family. You're killing everybody. What matter does support make? Our country won't be here at this rate when people don't look at it and say, this is what it is. That's a crocodile.
I want to ask you what we're going to see next, and let me provide this context, which is that the Federal Reserve is engaged in a lot of emergency liquidity for banks. Clearly, there are bank failures that are being barely staved off at this point. We're seeing a collapse of commercial real estate loans, and then we're seeing and this is probably why they did not release the October jobs numbers, and they never will, because they're going to be horrific. Because probably just in October alone, hundreds of thousands of Americans lost their jobs. A lot of it to AI replacement, some of it just economic implosion. And Michael,
and H-1B visa holders,
yeah, exactly right. And those people will not be able to pay back their loans. And we're at $18.6 trillion in total consumer debt in this country. And
that's perfect. Then they can take all your property and you'll own nothing and you'll be out of debt.
That's where it's
because you
going.
won't own anything.
Well, right. So that's my next question is the financial system depends on all these people keeping their jobs and paying their loans. And that's not going to happen. So not only commercial real estate is in trouble, but the banks that make the loans to consumers for consumer debt, like housing and auto loans, they're going to face massive problems.
That's hilarious.
What do you think the financial implications are?
Oh, they're destroying again. The United States is being dismantled and destroyed. So, I mean, it's baked into the cake that the financial system's going with it. I mean, that's fine. Obviously, it's fine with them. It's not fine with you and me. It's not fine with millions of others. But apparently, it's fine for all those people that keep going along with the Trump and keep going, well, what else? What other choices did we have? You know what I mean? You can't make up this stuff. And, you know, and Trump and Netanyahu and the rest of those people, they mock the people that keep falling for them. They don't respect them. People like Trump don't respect the people that they can just serially fool. He just doesn't respect them. He doesn't mind that they take the jab and die, obviously. I mean, he's celebrating it. He's celebrating it. And yet they still support him. That's what cults do. You know, the only cult people can't see is the cult that they're in. And, you know, at some point, people will just be dead. And one thing that's very important, you know, I mentioned this to you before. There's a lot of people that, like at BlackRock, senior executive types, who actually took the jab and took it in the wild, not saline. They took it in the wild, right? And I want to say to all those big executives in these big companies that think that you're part of the club, if you were not warned not to take the jab, and you took it in the wild, even if you're a billionaire and all that, and you got all your jets and helicopters and all that, if you took the jab in the wild, there's no seat for you. They may have already assassinated you. You just haven't gotten the bill yet. This
I ain't
was
gonna be out here much longer.
There's no seat for you on the dark arc moment. If you took the jab, and it doesn't matter how big you think you are, it doesn't matter if you're a king or a queen, they may have already just taken out your entire family. This is straight up warfare. It's genocidal warfare. It's existential warfare. Obviously, they're working very hard at rewilding the planet. They're looking at depopulating billions of people off of the planet. And at this rate, they'll probably succeed at this rate. Look at the water situation now in Iran. By the way, I put up a photo on my Substack today that I took in Afghanistan. I was next to the Iranian border, next to the Pakistan, Iran. I was in Afghanistan, but Iran and Pakistan have a border down there in the corner of southwest Afghanistan. I was down there in Nimruz province, and a friend of mine got the contract to build this. Somebody, old Green Beret friend, he got the contract to build some water infrastructure down there. So I was down there also with another friend named Tim Lynch, who lives in Texas now. And Tim, Tim is in my photo. Literally, the Afghans, Baluch people they had just closed the water to Iran. So the water infrastructure was built. They closed it, and I was taking photos. They closed the water off to Iran, and Iran responded the next day with rocket strikes in Zaranj, which is the capital of Nimruz province. The Iranians responded. So I mean, that was when I was in the Afghan. That was like more than 10 years ago. That was that water was cut off to Afghanistan with infrastructure. No sooner was the infrastructure built, boom, turned off the water.
Well,
right?
But to our audience who may not be aware, and thank you for sending me this story, but the president of Iran is warning that the entire city of Tehran may have to be evacuated, 10 million people, if it doesn't rain within just the next few weeks.
Hold on now. This might tie into this shit a little bit. Let me play this real quick.
Now, I tried to warn you guys about what was going on, but nobody wanted to listen. So, let's hear it from this guy, somebody who actually worked for Donald Trump. And let's just hear what he has to say.
So you did not inject GP1, PP14 developed by my people, the Israelis at MIT with HIV in it, right? No. That's exactly what it is. This is a jet by the Israelis. They're getting rid of all you Americans. You're all part of the land of Edom. They consider Donald Trump their Mashiach.
Get rid of you Americans.
I don't know if you know this. Do you know that they gave Donald Trump the silver crown of the Torah recently, which is to be put on the head of the Messiah? You know this? Who's that? 163 Orthodox rabbis. Oh, wow. Came together at Trump's golf course and handed him the silver crown. Do you know any of that? Nope. They gave him a menorah about 2 weeks ago, and on the bottom, the inscription says the Prince of Peace, an utterance out of the prophet Isaiah for the Mashiach, the Messiah. Do you know that happened?
I am the chosen one.
So you guys have no idea that they, in Israel, the Knesset, and in the Sanhedrin, have proclaimed Donald Trump the Messiah. You know none of this. They gave Trump the silver crown of the Torah. Got that? That's the silver crown of Jerusalem. This is to be given to the Messiah and the Messiah only. And 163 Orthodox.
Oh.
Jewish rabbis gave Donald Trump the silver crown of the Torah. I worked 4 years on Trump's campaign team. These guys are, this is the inscription, which you can't read, but you can read it here. They're calling him the Prince of Peace. This is an utterance out of the prophet Isaiah. Donald Trump is considered the Mashiach of Israel, the Messiah, according to these rabbis who run your country. The whole COVID agenda was done by Zionist Jews. And they want all you people dead here in the land of Edom. They consider Donald Trump the head of Edom. They're going to kill you people off with this injection. You're considered Amalek, and they want all you people dead. My Instagram is Trump_played_you. Trump played you. My son's dying from this shot that Donald Trump brought out through a military operation, Warp Speed, March 27, 2020, approved by the DOD. Warn your fellow Americans. This whole thing, by this COVID agenda, is all dual citizenship Zionist Jews. I used to be a hardcore Zionist. They want all you people dead, and Trump is their Messiah. Make no mistake of it. He will return. Can I see the back of your shirt? All right. Go Trump. Go Trump. Yeah, Trump's going to kill all you people.
Times are coming quicker than you guys know, man.
Oh my goodness. Pieces to the puzzle. Okay.
Probably geoengineering, I'm guessing. That's just a guess. Dane Wigington would be a better one to ask on that,
Yep.
I think you know Dane.
Yes.
I mean, but clearly there's a water. Keep in mind, when we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, I was in both of those wars. I spent 2 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. I used to go back and forth between them. You keep in mind those.
Now y'all know when I be listening to these folks talking shit, when the key words they use, like Americans and shit like that, I place us right there in that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people at a certain level know who the hell an American is. You feel me? And they propping this dude up like he the Messiah of Israel and shit. That's funny, Trump. That's funny as a motherfucker.
Countries both border Iran, right? Those countries border, and this has always been about knocking out Iran and other places. This is about routes and resources. Routes and resources is what it's all about. And taking out Iran is a key piece in the puzzle in that region. But again, Iraq and Afghanistan border Iran. Had we won in Afghanistan and Iraq, we would have easily raised up armies and then attacked Iran with those. Keep in mind, I'll bet you 20-1 odds that Baluch people and Kurds are being used to do sabotage within Iran right now. Just as an example, I was out with Kurds and Baluch quite a lot, and obviously Iran has kicked out a lot of Kurds and Baluch people as well, and Pashtun. So, but I mean, what I'm getting to is that the Zionists definitely want to take out Iran for every reason in the world, and the Chinese and the Russians want Iran to stay intact for every reason in the world for their routes and resources. You know, China's built that train now from Shanghai to Tehran, and they're still expanding it. And of course, Russia, you know, the whole corridor down from Russia through the Caspian. And keep in mind, Trump's working to build a corridor right now from Azerbaijan through Armenia over to Turkey. That's why Armenians are being genocided still, right, by the Azeri people who are supported openly by the.
Hold on. Ain't they supposed to build Trump a temple in 2026 in air quotes Israel over there? Am I wrong? I think so. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The Zionists of Israel are supporting the Azeris who are genociding the Christian Armenians. Why? It's about the route. It's about the Caspian route. It's about that trip route, the Trump route. They call it the trip route. It's the route between Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Turkey, and that's the Trump route, right? They call it the Trump route. Look up the Trump route or the trip route. You'll see. And that's why they want to get rid of Armenians there. Getting rid of the Christian Armenians.
I kind of want to hear all
who's
these
defending the Christian Armenians, believe it or not, is the Iranians. The Shia Iranians are defending the Christian Armenians against the Shia Azeris. You can't make up this stuff. And the Shia Azeris are being supplied by the Zionists. They're being supplied by the Trump administration. The Trump administration literally and Israel are supplying weapons that are being used to kill Armenians, even while Armenians then migrate over to Glendale, California. So I mean, you can't make up this stuff. It's the normal complexities of war that are actually they're not hidden. People just don't look.
Yeah, but I mean that's fascinating what you just laid out there. But by every measure, the United States does not have the technology, the military, the intelligence to compete with China and Russia in the long run.
I know I'll be on that boring shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on that boring shit. My bad.
I mean, Russia's ahead of us on all the military weapons. China's way ahead of us on industry and technology and robotics and drones and rare earths and you name it. Other than heavy lift rockets, the U.S. still leads in heavy lift rockets, but I think Russia is right there, neck and neck with the U.S. on heavy lift rockets. So
keep in mind, you're right, and keep in mind, Trump is still handing out visas to Indians and Chinese. He's handing out. Masako and I a couple months ago. We had dinner with a Thai American. He's got dual citizenship, right? So he was back in Bangkok. He was living in Houston. He was a software engineer, and he's Thai American. And he said, "I'm moving back to Thailand." He wanted to stay in Houston, but he's moving back to Thailand to look for a software job. He said because all the Americans in Texas are losing their jobs to Indians. All the people in the software. That's what he told me. I don't know. I didn't audit that to know if it's truthful or not, but he was very clear. All the Americans are losing their jobs in Texas to Indians. All the Americans who work in the software world. Is that true? People in the software world who are watching this? Anyway, it's obviously Trump is clearly handing out the visas.
Okay, right. But I don't see the U.S. being able to continue to compel the world to use the dollar and to respect the U.S. military, especially. I mean, let's shift to Ukraine right now. Russia has essentially taken the city of Pokrovsk, which it's another major defeat of NATO. That all the NATO countries have failed. NATO's become a joke. Ukraine, just mired in now fraud and corruption and money laundering that's blown up. The Ukraine military, even as hard as the men fight, they're not competitive against Russia's technology and man count, right? So what does this mean in the long run that NATO is defeated?
Look at the fundamentals. Nord Stream cut and so many things. Groningen cut. So if we look at the fundamentals of Europe is collapsing. Therefore, NATO is collapsing. Right. The Ukrainian men have been killed off. Zionists clearly want Ukraine. They don't hide this. This is not conspiracy theory. This is naked. It's in the open. They say it. They're dancing around about it. They're killing off the Ukrainian men by throwing them into battle with Russia, and it's working. I mean, they've slaughtered them. They've either killed them or they've moved off to places like Poland. And there's a lot of the Ukrainians in all over Canada now. And that's sort of last time I went to Canada, you landed in Toronto, and there was signs there in Ukrainian welcoming Ukrainians. They had a whole section for Ukrainians to sit down and in process right there in Toronto. We flew in from Bahamas where we were looking at similar subjects. But I mean, the clearly NATO is obviously not going to survive because Europe itself is not going to survive. If we just look at every day I get articles sent to me. And this has been going on for a long time, that the Russian economy is collapsing, that the Chinese economy is collapsing. I mean, where's the evidence of that? They're still building their Belt and Road Initiative. China is clearly strangling Panama, clearly, obviously. They're still expanding. And the Chinese economy is not all based in China. There's Chinese all over the world, all over America. They're growing dope all over America. And then dope heads like Joe Rogan smoke dope and push dope. How clever is that? The Chinese come to the United States, grow dope in Oregon and Oklahoma and Maine and California, growing dope everywhere, and dope heads like Joe Rogan push dope. You can't make up this stuff. And look, I just picked this up in Thailand. This is a little baby bong. They've got, and I picked this one up in Kyoto in Japan. Same thing, that literally these are little bongs that are made for obviously children. You can smoke dope right out of their heads, right? Wow. I mean, it's just, this is, I see this stuff on a day-to-day basis. They're destroying us, destroying Thailand, destroying Japan, destroying the United States. They're doing it
Remember, the number one WMD is intoxicants, whether that be alcohol, whether that be cannabis or opium, whatever. Historically, the big ones have been alcohol and opium. But also cannabis is quite severe, right? This ain't the cannabis that they used to smoke in the caves in India or something. This is clearly driving people into psychosis. And yet we see people pushing this on major podcasts. And while the Chinese grow it, you go out to Canada now, there's huge greenhouses. We were driving down the road, Masako and I, with a Canadian Army officer, retired. And I was like, I smell dope in this car. What's going on here, right? We'd been driving for quite a while. I said, do you have dope in this car? No, there was huge greenhouses outside on both sides of the 4-lane highway. Huge greenhouse after greenhouse. I'm like, this smells like we're in a dope warehouse. He's like, yeah, it's all over Canada like this. Unbelievable. Wow. Just huge greenhouses of dope, so much that you're driving through at highway speed and the whole car smells like dope.
Well, I mean, you know history very well, and this is just China inversing what the British did to Hong Kong and southern China with opium.
China did this. China's done this too. China did this before, and China did it after. China has always been in this business too. They play the victim because they're professional victims too. I spent quite a bit of time running around China. They always say, "Oh, it's because the British did this. The British did the opium war," which they did. They absolutely did. And the Chinese have done the same thing against Taiwan, against Thailand, against so many other neighbors. China has been doing this too. They're not innocent victims. They are predators. I mean, China has been throwing intoxicants into Formosa and so many places. Masako and I last year were in Taiwan, which was Formosa, and they're doing it again now with fentanyl. So it's not like China's, and even if the British did do this, there's no question about it. But the Chinese again were doing it too, and they continued. They were doing it before, and they're still doing it. So this idea that this is just China getting revenge. Well, why would they be getting revenge against Thailand and Taiwan and Japan? Why would they be getting revenge against everybody under the sun? They're not. They're just predators. They're why would they be pouring the dope into the United States for revenge against what the British have done?
Well, according to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, he just visited China, and he came back and announced that the fentanyl problem is now solved, and there will be no more fentanyl coming across the border to America. I mean, gaslighting galore. What do you make of that?
You can't make up this stuff. Nobody can make up this stuff. This is idiocracy. I mean, obviously, it's not going to stop. It's obviously not going to stop. I wave my, as you've said before, abracadabra. Abracadabra, and it shall be. No, right. It won't. No, it won't be.
Okay, so all right, let's continue. What are more signs of this engineered destruction of Western civilization that you see happening? Either kind of a suicide from within, like the Trump administration, as you said, or attacks from China or whatever else. Like, what are more signs that we can look for?
A huge one is just the intoxicants, because it's so obvious. I mean, it's just like the doped up people everywhere. And I mean, severe. They're not just recreationally idiots. They are actually disabled and seem to be chemically wounded, probably permanently. I mean, it's just absolutely severe. And also, again, the death jabs still rolling out. I mean, they're clearly genociding us. The same, whether it be in Ireland or wherever. Look, the United Kingdom is dead. It's over. It's finished. They've crossed the Rubicon. Why would the royalty in the United Kingdom do this to itself? They did. I mean, why would they do it? I don't know, because I wouldn't do it, but they did. And so have the Dutch royalty as well. So many, one after another, are destroying their own countries and doing it willfully. So it's not just the United States. The signs are everywhere. Again, you and I have talked about it many times. Nord Stream, Groningen, Germany a couple of weeks ago now, was it 2 or 3 weeks, destroyed that last nuclear plant down in Bavaria. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just totally self-destructing.
So how much longer does Western Europe have to exist as we know it? I mean, Germany's economy or industry is collapsing. The UK is suffering a domestic revolt. France is also suffering economic and industrial destruction. The car manufacturers are moving out or shutting down all across Europe. And the power that they still don't have any way to restore power that's cheap and abundant. And they're continuing the suicide path. So,
cutting Nord Stream, cutting Groningen, knocking out the nuclear plants and coal-fired plants and whatnot, so many of them. As you know, when the energy prices go up, the prices of manufacturing, everything go up. Yeah. So this is just going to push manufacturing over to China even more, right? That's what it's going to do. And it's not pushing it to the United States. And Trump is, even if it pushes it into the United States, if the people that are working in the factories are Chinese and Indians, he's actually pushing it to China and India, because they're the new oligarchs within the United States. Americans are being knocked out. I mean, look at how many Americans are complaining now they can't get hired at Indian companies because they won't hire the white folks. They won't hire the black folks. They want only Indians, right? I've been to India. I spent almost a year in India. That's just the way it goes. Americans are in for some awakening here. Those who aren't culturally tuned up are about to get tuned up. Some fish don't mix well in the same aquarium. The reason we had borders is, well, is it obvious yet? I mean, look at the Europeans that threw open the borders, free love. Yeah, now they're being raped and killed. I mean, and seriously, and we warned that's what would happen. And it's so obvious. The destruction of the Western world, and not just them, also Japan and other countries, and also Thailand. Thailand is also self-destructing, and they are in as much denial as the United States is. Because Thais are very proud and with good cause. I love Thailand.
but they are under severe attack, and most of them don't recognize it. And by the time you recognize it, you already been bit by the snake by the time you recognize it. And that's too late. We're talking about a cobra, right? This is, now that last time you and I talked, they had almost 10,000 cannabis licenses for growing, distributing, warehousing, and retailing, right? They had about 10,000. Now it's 20. It's 20,000 as of a couple of weeks ago. It's about 20,000 now. They're exploding. When Masako and I were just over in Bangkok recently, we went into one of these dope shops. You have to have a prescription to buy the dope, right? So I got a prescription on the spot, and so did Masako. What? Yeah, we both got prescriptions. You literally buy she couldn't buy any because she's a Japanese citizen. But we went in there, like in the same store that I bought this thing. I wanted to be able to tell people this is what's going on. They are doping up Thailand, right? And just like it's been done to look at every country, every state in the United States that legalizes crap, like California and Colorado, what happens to them? They go to the dogs, right? And you can walk in, if you're in Bangkok right now, you can walk into one of these dope stores and they actually a doctor right there by the cash register. In other words, he actually gave a prescription to Masako for anorexia. He didn't even ask her, what is wrong with you? He's just like, anorexia, right? And for me, it was something like, what did they give it? For me, it was something I can't remember. Amnesia. I don't know. And so they literally, they got dope right there, and they're selling literal pipes and marijuana, and they'll roll the joints for you and give you a prescription. And you just walk out with it. Yeah, I mean, this is right now. And, and if you look on your map app, you can do this from anywhere in the world, I guess. Look up cannabis stores in Bangkok. You're going to see that your map is going to populate like a Christmas tree. But when you go on the ground, there's a lot more than are on those maps because they're opening them up so fast. If you add up all the Starbucks and all the 7-Elevens and all the banks you see, there's more cannabis stores now in Bangkok. They're everywhere.
Wow. Okay, that's horrifying. Let's shift gears to power infrastructure. In the United States, there are AI data centers that have been built that cannot be powered. There's not enough power on the grid to feed them. There are companies like Microsoft have admitted that they've got hundreds of thousands of GPUs that they purchase that they can't light them up because they don't have the power. Whereas China's got massive power, more than twice the power of the USA and building even faster. The gap is widening. The USA is 15 years behind or more, and you can't just generate power out of nothing overnight. What do you think are the implications of the fact that the U.S. I mean, you already mentioned Western Europe because of Nord Stream, but the U.S. doesn't have the power it needs either.
I'm not seeing any metric that sees us coming out on the other side looking good at all. I mean, our borders are still open. Despite whatever Mr. Trumpy Bear is saying, they're handing out visas. So, I mean, when it comes to the power and manufacturing, one of the reasons that the Spanish Empire collapsed, by the way, is they were bringing in so much gold and silver that they just started buying their ships from like the Dutch and the English. So they were making their ships. Before you know it, you got Dutch and English running around Spain and Portugal buying their farmland. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? So we were doing really great in the United States. So we started outsourcing our manufacturing all over the world, with NAFTA or also over in China and Bangladesh and Vietnam. And now, I mean, where's our manufacturing? Over there, right? Right. I mean, we're literally committing suicide.
But now, Trump believes that he can reindustrialize America. And in order to believe that, you have to believe that we can be competitive manufacturers on the global market. He thinks that tariffs are going to motivate companies to build factories. And he has achieved some verbal commitments from some of these companies that are just trying to sort of pay homage to the Trump administration. But do you think there's any realistic process by which the United States could be reindustrialized?
We're not doing it. I don't know what his actual intent is because Trump says a lot of things and they almost all turn out to be lies, right? So, I mean, we have to go with first principles. Does that, if your gas gauge always doesn't work, why would it work this time? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, whatever Trump says is irrelevant to me. I don't even pay attention to the guy. But we'll look at what he does. What he does is what he's doing is destroying the United States. And again, if you experiment with the paradigm that he's a traitor and he's committing treason and he's selling off the United States, you'll find that paradigm is amazingly predictive. If you just imagine Trumpy Bear is a traitor and he's selling the United States, watch how predictive you can be. You'll be more predictive than the experts with what he's going to do because the things that he's doing just serially are just crushing the United States. Just serially, whether it's the death jabs, whether it's the tariffs, whether it's just starting wars everywhere, getting us involved with our military. Our military is not what people think it is. Yeah, do we have hydrogen bombs? Sure. But can you run off and start all these wars and look how well we did in Iraq and Afghanistan and Vietnam, right? I mean, and those were, and now, he's still wants to go to war hardcore with Iran. That's not done. And also Venezuela. And remember, wars always spread. And wars spread. They magically spread like fires and they get out of everybody's control. And again, Trump knows nothing about war. He doesn't know much about anything. That's why he's there, right? He's there because he's a condom. He is. And keep in mind, this stuff was going on before Trump and Trump's grandfather were born. So these were all these people like Obama and all these clowns. They're just leaves on the tree. They are not the system. They're not the ones who design the system. They're not the ones who operate the system. They are like Charlie Kirk. they are puppets. And if the puppet goes too far, the puppet will be jerked back, right? And and that's all they are. Look at Trudeau up in Canada, all these different puppets that people have been familiar with. Here in Japan now, the new prime minister Takaichi, she's a jab pusher. She's a lockdown pusher. She's jab injured, right? Did you see the tweet that she put out last week talking about doesn't want to leave the home so she can do her hair, right? And I mean, she's a Trojan horse. And I said this before she was in office. People are asking me, I'm like, here, print out what I sent you, put it on the wall, and check back with it later. And if I'm inaccurate, then block me, right? And she's clear. It's not even, again, it's not hidden at all. She's saying who she is. She's a jab pusher. She's a lockdown pusher. She's not that intelligent. She's only in that position because she's malleable and she'll do what she's told. That's it.
So what's the end game here? Is it just the destruction of Western civilization to turn it over to other interests, or is it global depopulation without borders?
Those two things are intermediate goals to get what is actually openly desired, which is just global dominance, which is to be king of the world. Everybody wants to be king of the world. So we've got oligarchs cooperating right now to see who, it's like the Highlander. There can be only one at the end, right? We've got people that are cooperating at this point for, some are fighting each other, like the Zionists and the Chinese are fighting each other. And, well, generally, they cooperate on some things. They cooperate together on destroying the United States. The Zionists, who depend on the United States, are helping destroy the United States. Why would they do that? That sounds like cult stuff, right? I mean, and the Zionist cult is a hardcore cult. There's different components of it. There's the Christian Zionist component. There's the Jewish Zionist component. There's the atheist, right? The Zionist, and there's Muslim Zionists as well. And some of them are very close to me around here, by the way. So I mean, and they are clearly being a parasitoid to the United States. And then what will that leave them? Defenseless against the Chinese. It just doesn't make any sense for anybody with any strategic thinking. But again, keep in mind, these sorts of people that really develop these architectures, these organizational systems, they don't do 5-year plans. 5-year plans are for babies, right? They do multi-century plans, right? They're talking about over the horizon plans. We're talking about stuff that has been in play for centuries, right? These are process wars. These wars are not events. World War I and World War II were not separate from each other. They're the same war. They're the exact same war. People separate those wrongly. They're not separable or severable. They are the same war. This is a process of slowly World War I, take out the Prussians, take out the Germans, right? World War II, take out finish the job on taking out the Germans and take out the Japanese, right? And the next one is clearly taking out the United States. But again, they're not separate. They're not separate wars. It's the same war. Just like Iraq and Afghanistan were not two separate wars. I remember during the Iraq and Afghan war, wars, if you want to call it, there's a war. People started getting to be, they would get triggered by whether or not people would call these wars separate as opposed to one war. And it got to be a political point where, are these two separate wars, Iraq and Afghanistan, or are they the same war? And if you said it's the same war, you're on one side. If you say they're two separate wars, you're on the other side. They're not two separate wars. They're clearly the same war, right? They're clear. Not only are they clearly the same war, they're the same war. They're the same war as World War I, World War II, taking the Panama Canal. It's all part of something that you can't understand this in 2 hours. You can't understand this by reading Foreign Affairs for 6 months. You can't understand this. It takes years of real study to start to get a feel for what's going on. You're not going to understand it overnight. It's just not going to, it'd be like thinking you're going to suddenly become a surgeon overnight. You're just not going to. And likewise with what's going on, if you want to get down to the bottom line, it's about routes and resources and king of the world. Routes and resources and who wants to rule the world. There are a lot of people that want to rule the world, and there are a lot of little kings that are cooperating together. They think they got a place on the dark ark. But I want to repeat, if you got the jab and nobody told you not to take the jab, boom, you're shot. They got you. They've already shot you, and you may die from that. They may have already assassinated you. You just didn't get the message yet. So you got to keep in mind, if you're still on that other team, you should think about abandoning that team, because they're clearly taking you out. They're clearly destroying your family line. They're clearly destroying your kingdom. If you are an emperor or a king and you took the jab, they're coming for your kingdom.
Wow, well said. Okay, last question then domestically. As this destruction continues to accelerate, as you're describing the Trump agenda, the domestic economy is going to get worse and worse. Massive unemployment. The government won't release any numbers. They'll just keep gaslighting and saying it's a new golden age while people are homeless, living on the streets. What's this going to look like domestically? And is there going to be a revolt moment where some certain mass of people try to rise up against the government?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the Canadians as a guide, I mean, they have been inert, and the Irish have been inert, and the English have been inert. So you got some protests or whatever. The Germans. This psychological operations have been amazingly effective. You look at the people here in Japan. Nobody knows the numbers. The hikikomori that just stay home for like years on end. They never leave home. They're just inert. They're eating food, but they're not producing anything. They don't even come out of their rooms at home. You know what I mean? And this is spread across in various different forms. It's all over the West. I mean, I spent so much time down on the border, all the way across the southern border, down all over the place, trying to get the border closed. And, meanwhile, people like, doperhead Joe Rogan, they're just smoking dope going, wow, man, the border's open. Isn't that terrible? It's like, they're part of the system that's doping people down. It's interesting, though. Every time I would bring that up, in psychological operations, when you're implanting a new firmware into somebody's head, you have to disarm whatever other firmwares are already there and then scrub them out, right? And one of those is you'll use something called supplied answers. And supplied answers are, answers that you'll automatically have to something. Like, for instance, if I say, why are you watching Joe Rogan? He pushes dope on millions of young people. The supplied answer is, but he has a lot of great guests. That's the supplied answer. I'm like, okay, so you got this big old table of food, wonderful table of food, and a little bit of poison. Yeah, but it's great. But I came for the great food and a little bit of poison, Yeah. And so wow. these another supplied answer with Trump is always Fauci fooled him. Fauci fooled him. His advisors fooled him. When Trumpy Bear wakes up, he'll come save the day. It's the whole hero complex thing that we have to have a hero instead of being the hero ourselves, right? All of us standing up in our own. And sometimes that just doesn't mean actively doing anything. Sometimes it can mean not doing something. It can mean not enabling the people trying to kill you by supporting them, right? I mean, by sending a check to Biden or Trump or Obama that are clearly working to kill us. And keep in mind, they all clearly think they have a seat on the dark ark. But as soon as they're in the way, they'll be dismissed as well.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, people had better listen and get prepared for some very difficult times. Do you want to comment last thing on gold and silver? They've been skyrocketing and then bouncing back up and down, extremely volatile right now. Do you have any final thoughts on the metals?
Well, I'm not a financial advisor, but so with that caveat, if I had any extra change laying around, I would be dividing it between gold and silver. There's no question about that. I mean, that's the kind of it's clear that our fiat is collapsing as fiat does. I mean, the fiat it's just going to die, and it's just a matter of how it's going to look when it does. It'll probably look like the other fiats that I've seen around the world. I've seen hyperinflation before, and it's quite impressive. When you've got stacks of money and you can't buy anything with it, and that's obviously where we're headed. And the Bitcoin bros are always pushing the you don't understand the technology, man. That's a supplied answer to people that don't understand the technology. Listen, if you're smelling the cheese of the Bitcoin and you're trying to figure out what kind of cheese it is, you're already in the trap. You know what I mean? you're deep in the trap by the time you're smelling the cheese. But it's funny because I spent so much time in Asia and around the world. I spent more than 20 years in Asia. And I can say without a doubt, without any caveat whatsoever, gold specifically is like in the DNA of 1 billion plus people in India and however many are in China, Thailand, so many countries. Gold is the standard, right? Like if you go to Thailand, if you're in Thailand now and you ask a waitress, what's the price of gold? That waitress probably knows actually. And just random people, just ask. If you're in Thailand now, listen, you have listeners all over the world. If you're in Thailand now, just ask 10 random people today or this week. Do you know what the price of gold is? Some of them might go, oh, I haven't checked this week. Yeah, let me look. You know what I mean? Hey, they know it. It's because so it's not like gold is going to go away. It's just not going to go away. And silver's not as useful globally as gold is, but silver is obviously still very important. Like not still important. I mean, it's like there's no end in sight to the importance of silver. I mean, silver is just becoming more and more important. And obviously, the price has been shooting through the roof lately. What's it now? Like 52 or 53 an ounce for silver? What is it?
It's been in that range. Yeah, bouncing around. It actually hit 54. So
was that yesterday or
a couple days ago? But the moves now are plus or minus $2 a day on silver.
Silver's is gold's erratic little brother or sister, whatever. but they're clearly. I mean, if you're saving in fiat, remember we were brainwashed to save in fiat. The Japanese were too. The Japanese were also brainwashed to save in fiat. And I wish I had some Japanese yen right here, but I don't. But the Japanese yen actually are. Actually, believe it or not, they're made out of paper from a pulp that comes from Nepal. So the Japanese banknotes, by the way, they still use banknotes here quite a lot more than Americans do. But the Japanese have been brainwashed just like Americans have to save in fiat. And we were brainwashed away from the gold system. Obviously, that was part of the trap to get us to save in a form that they can just inflate away. They can't inflate the gold away, and they cannot inflate the silver away. And keep in mind, the Bitcoin that doesn't need to inflate away. They can just you can't spend it. It just evaporates because you can't. Okay, you've still got $8 trillion in Bitcoin, but what are you going to spend it on? You can't use it. And it's highly trackable. This idea that Bitcoin is crypto, where did they even come up with this stuff? I mean, it's the most trackable form of currency on planet Earth is Bitcoin. It's more trackable than your credit card. And I'm not exaggerating. Bitcoin is clearly more trackable than a credit card. I mean, anybody can track your Bitcoin. Yeah, anybody all over the world can track your Bitcoin. Not anybody can track your credit card. At least you have to be within some ecosystem with access to a terminal, but not Bitcoin. And yet people are still like, well, it's anonymous. I'm like, okay, have fun.
No, it's not anonymous. I would be shocked if anybody still thought that Bitcoin was anonymous, but maybe people do. I mean,
the supplied answer, I had a discussion with a Japanese Bitcoin bro about 2 weeks ago on this, and he came up with the normal supplied answer. Actually, it is anonymous if you know how to use it. Okay, whatever. So that's the fallback position. It is anonymous if you know how to use it. If your name is James Bond and the person that you're dealing with is James Bond, it's anonymous. It's like okay, but for day-to-day stuff, You know what I mean? That you don't want everybody in the universe to know not only what you're buying, but where you're at and when you bought it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
that can get you killed in this world. We're talking a world where people would love to see when you spend money. Hey, he's not at home right now. You know what I mean? You know,
Right.
he just bought a ticket in Hawaii. It's like, that means he's not home. You know,
Yep.
it's incredible.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Michael, for your time. And I know you stayed up for us to do this. Tell people how they can follow you on X and any other pages you want to mention.
Oh, Substack. Yeah, go to my Substack. You know, my Substack is the best place. And I hope people will subscribe to it. My Substack is free. I'm not going to make it paid, but I ask people to pay if you can, because there's a lot of people that need the information that just cannot afford it. And so
that's michaelyan.substack.com, right?
That's right. Michael Yan at substack.com. I'm not sure if it has a dot there, but Michael Yan at substack.com. And then you can sign up for free, actually. And you'll get the same information as people that pay. But if you're generous and you have the extra funds, please help pay for those who can't afford it, because this stuff is expensive for Masako and me to do this research.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on X, give us your channel name.
Oh, Michael_Yan, or you can find me at Big Honey. Big Honey.
Big Honey, really?
That's right. Yeah, Big Honey. People can remember Big Honey. They can't spell Yan. Yeah.
No, so you have a separate account for Big Honey?
No. It's I just have it written under that name as well. It's the same account.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for your time today. And don't disconnect yet. We got to finish syncing. And thank all of you for watching. Mike Adams here, Brighteon.com. And check out all of Michael Yan's information on X and his Substack. And be well, everybody. Take care. Welcome to day 4 of our Black Friday sale here at healthrangerstore.com, where this is once a year we have the deepest discounts available across the entire year. And I'm going to walk you through the special bonus gifts that you get today based on your orders. So on any order that you place with us, you're going to get this $25 value Natural News magazine. This is volume 7. It's a full color print. It's a beautiful magazine. People love these. They're actually collectibles. People love to have all of these because they're filled with amazing how-to articles and knowledge articles that it's just a joy to read. And on top of that, if you place a $99 order or higher, you're going to get our colloidal silver spray. You see that there on the left. That is an extremely popular product that often we don't even offer it for sale. We only offer it as a gift. And that combined with...
Okay, I had to wash these dishes real quick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I said it's something to the name, Michael. Yeah, that's about do it for the day, man. I just had to jump in there in the kitchen and wash some dishes while that shit played. There was a lot of shit I wanted to pause on and talk on, but oh well. I had to knock them dishes out. Let me play a little music before I get the hell up out of here. Yeah. Nah, I was seeing the comments and I was commenting, but I just couldn't interact like that. You dig?
Yeah. Oh, word. The world's so fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. Check the TV, be filtered images all sin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. The world's so fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. I understand what it means to be a man. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Sitting in his room, little Johnny spazzing out. He on the edge of the bed, he got his pistol out. Baby sister downstairs, she's screaming in the house. It's fucked up. They mama dead on the couch. Overdose, cold body as she lay stiff. Lil Johnny best friend supplied her with the fix, but he ain't know, he thought it came from a trick. He blacking in and out, all he could think about was killing shit. Daddy don't care, cause daddy never been there. Lost in the system, abused up in foster care. Vicious cycles of nobody being there. You see that daddy never really learned to care. The world's so fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. Check the TV, filtered images, all sin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. begin. The world's so fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. I understand what it means to be a man. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Searching for a place in the world without a doubt. Baby girl popping pills and she constantly wilding out. She just looking for attention, that's why she be acting out. No sense of normalcy, different men inside the house. Nothing seemed familiar, boyfriend just killed himself. While everybody doing their own thing, looking out for self. She lost dying on the inside, badly needing some help. Lack of support, caused depression and poor mental health. Who to blame for the pain of a fucked up situation? Should've caught it from the signs and all the premeditation. Daddy at the bar, heavy drinks trying to be a star. Mama in the club, running with niggas being a whore. No wonder she didn't want to live anymore. The world's so fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. Check the TV, filtered images, all sin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. So fucked up, it's hard for me to comprehend. I understand what it means to be a man. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. Follow me, come follow me, let's begin. I plotted many ways to get the paper, and how you do that, I had to dodge and evade haters. How you keep that, stay on some shit that's major. Favor for a favor, holla at a player. I plotted many ways to get the paper, and how you do that, I had to dodge and evade haters. How you keep that, stay on some shit that's major. Favor for a favor, holla at a player. It's on and poppin', let me keep it rockin', non-stop. When I do what I do, bring a new style, going buck wild. I can't keep it mild, so place me on top of the pile. Hit cat, have a coke and a smile, and shut the fuck up. We act up, haters need to back up. Don't make me have to break it back up. Oh, gon' call you back up. I'll just back up, then we can clash. Then watch us get off in that ass. Stomp down. You see in the midst of lyrical warfare, ain't a damn thing fair. So you niggas better beware, look chief. I'm carnivorous, I eat beef. So we beefing and eating until one of us no longer breathing. No a better reason in the killing season. Shit turns sour. We're talking about an hour. Your whole existence get devoured. I plotted many ways to get the paper, and how you do that, I had to dodge and evade haters. How you keep that, stay on some shit that's major. Favor for a favor, holla at a player. I plotted many ways to get the paper, and how you do that, I had to dodge and evade haters. How you keep that, stay on some shit that's major. Favor for a favor, holla. Yeah. Shorty, come fuck with a pimp tonight. You never know, I could book us a flight. I take you somewhere that I know you would like. Coconut and palm trees, such a beautiful sight. See, I can get that shit for the rest of your life. Just go to war for your boy, best be ready to fight. Fuck a hater, just evade him, keep him out of your sight. You need to choose up, baby, everything will be right. Be here and I am me for half of the night. Now I'm trying to take you home, but I'm packing for right now. Take this bottle on ice, be easy, baby, cool down. I'm not leaving here until they hit the lights and cut the sound. But for now, I continue making my round. What you ain't know, this real pimping going down. Before we out the parking lot, she sucking on me good. I'm ready to pull over and put that ass up on the hood. But a pimp like me, man, I don't play that shit. A bitch lucky enough to get laced with the dick. You see these lame ass niggas breaking rules, trying to flip like they can rewrite and replace the whole script. And in the long run, them niggas hoes get knocked and it's back to the bottom, never glimpsed at the top. In the meanwhile, pimping, I'm posted in the tropics, next to exotic hoes getting riding. Shorty, come fuck with a pimp tonight. You never know, I could book us a flight. I'll take you somewhere that I know you will like. Coconut and palm trees, such a beautiful sight. See, I can give you that shit for the rest of your life. Just go to war for your boy, best be ready to fight. Fuck a hater, just evade him, keep him out of your sight. You need to choose up, baby, everything will be right. Give me the B-A-Y breeze. Baby, don't taste me or you going off E. Crazy how them bitches turning slack on me. I'm not one of them boys that running back on C. I'm not trying to force it if you don't like me, but of course they hit my phone nightly. I told her I ain't playing for the wrong team, no, baby, I don't rock that type of jersey. I can still put you on my highlight reel. I got a highlight still, hit me on my cell. She had to dial my number in Braille. I had to paint the picture in hell. I'm on the chain with it, I could leave it. Stuck in the street, I could bring it home and chain it. Back to the leash, I could do it off the brain. I don't need no leaf, nigga, this is a Bay Breeze. Hey, this is a Bay Breeze. Off the top, I don't need no list, this is a Bay Breeze. Off the top, I don't need no list, it's a Bay Breeze. Off the top, I don't need no list, it's a Bay Breeze. Off the top, I don't need no leaf. Yeah. My name in the mouth don't make me have to pull it. This a big bullet, this ain't made for big bullets. Try to kick dirt on my name, I call it pull it. Made her go insane when she found out that I was fully. I don't mean to be misunderstood. The people think they know me from the name that I put. I never did it cause they told me I should. I'ma be a winner till they claim that I'm good. If you ain't going for the big four, what you playing a game for? Never sell your soul for a chain, bro. We already came from the chain gang, bro. All these problems weighing on my mind, like I can see the solution through the limelight. Put your shades on, the future is bright. This is your day one, welcome to your life. Hey, this is a Bay Breeze. Archetype, I don't need no list, this is a Bay Breeze. Archetype, I don't need. Huh, she got a glow, moonlight dripping on the skin. Chocolate silk, the universe tucked within. Every step a sonnet, every word a hymn. Her laugh a melody, my world starts to spin.
He got a spot, and my eyes will never fade. Shoulders broad, holding burdens life has made. Voice of velvet thunder, steady in the shade. With him I'm safe like a house love is made. We into the twine, like roots beneath the ground. Two hearts beating in the same profound sound.
No need to search, no need to roam. With your love, I found my home. Her dreams paint murals on the night sky's face. Every glance she throws a masterpiece in space. She ain't a diamond, nah, she the whole mine. Queen of my life and the crown's divine.
His strength is steady like rivers carving stone. You're soft enough to make the wild feel at home. He ain't a star, nah, he's the whole sky. King of my heart where the love can't die.
Every wound healed by the touch, the word. Every doubt silenced by the truth we heard. Through storms and droughts we stand, we thrive. This love eternal, it's alive, alive. Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, truth ascend. From wrecking his ashes, the soul defend. Fire shit. We on cuz history and paid the heaviest pyramid stone. Promises ghosted, exposed, marrow, broken bone and dry. Making the contract a phantom, voices from the wall. Echo, whisper, silence, holds the anthem. Broken legend, peep the lecture, who signs for the scars. Generations built kingdoms on land and sea. Now they got us out of space, reaching for stars. Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth ascend.
From reckoning's ashes, soul defend. Balance tip, the scales lean. You dirty crook, justice not found, pockets deep. Overlooked while you shook, paved streets of gold, but who paid the toll? Riches in their coffers, but they borrowed the soul. Restitution, a word heavy with weight. Who writes a check when history's late? It's only fate, mark the date. Game over. Game over. Rise from the ruin, soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth does sing. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defend. Rebuild from the wreckage, brick by brick. Hands that heal, no more Houdini tricks. Restoration of soil screens for seeds. No greed, a garden blooming with truth, not just pulling the weeds. Blueprints drawn in blood, sweating and tears. Keep your stride, fix the foundation and step inside. Bitch, we arrive. Rise from the ruin, soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth does sing. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defends.
Question must be asked of the youth. Who are you?
Can I help you?
Yeah, I came to reclaim my birthright.
Peace, this is Mayday. Hear the call, no play. They got the mic check. 1, 2, making sure the message stays straight. This ain't a game, this is closing the ranks. Let's give thanks to the ancestors standing firm upon these ancient riverbanks. A TEP production, yeah, you know the sound and the heat. Camaraderie is the currency. Success is tasting so sweet. Who are we? Where are we? Are we where we need to be? Still rooted in the soil, indigenous. We never deflate. Closing the ranks, gotta unify the whole fam. Stronger together, that's the powerful battle plan. From the soil, from the land. Yes, we're taking our stand. Unity's a bomb more potent than any quicksand. Well, closing the ranks, hear the rhythm, feel the vibration. Protect the culture, the mind, the future of the nation. We were born free, not enslaved. Understand the history. Reclaim the narrative, break the chains of false mystery. Isaiah said, make it plain, so the understanding is broad. Demons came with tricknology, their doctrines are flawed. Troublemakers of the earth, mental sodomies, the method, warmongering thieves. Where they step, everything shredded, the shed in the blood. They delight wherever they arrive, leaving massive voids, destroying everything that was alive. Reclassification scheme, a tactic to still a terrain from aboriginal, indigenous to Negro, back and forth again. In 1 century, they tried to erase our foundation. From black to African American, confusion across the whole nation. But the wise men spoke truth, that shit in the deep stone. Our unity, one voice can never be overthrown. More powerful than atomic bomb, that's the calculation. Let's unite right now, fulfill the true spiritual obligations. Closing the ranks, gotta unify the whole fam. Stronger together, that's the powerful battle plan. From the soil, from the land, yes, we're taking our stand. Unity's a bomb more potent than any quicksand. Closing the ranks, hear the rhythm, feel the vibration. Protect the culture, the mind, the future of the nation. We were born free, not enslaved. Understand the history, reclaim the narrative, break the chains of false mystery. No more division, only precision, power in the vision. We rise as one, no ranks, close the mission complete. Da 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 da.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I came to reclaim my birthright.
Revolutionary flames burning deep inside my heart. Great fires, reconstruction, and that ain't even a star. Copper fists raised high, aimed arrows, let them fly. Navigating the storm, it's always calm in the eye. Man, fools the system, returning fire in the dark. Show some heart, returning fire in the dark. Real niggas stand up, returning fire in the dark. Yellow field, returning fire in the dark. This is blood in the soil. ink on the scroll. Kings in the shadows, but the throne's still cold. Echoes of the ghetto, gunmetal swinging low. Freedom ain't free, you know the cost. Skulls and bone, this a mama getting business. Back alleys whisper secrets to the stars. Bullet holes tattoo the hood like memoirs. The block's a graveyard, angels with battle scars. Chasing revolution, but the devil stay on guard. Revolutionary flames burn deep in the heart. From the ashes of the streets where the riots start. Copper fists raise high, tear the system apart. We the fire in the dark, show some heart. We the fire in the dark, break, bro. Man, boost the system, return the fire in the dark. Show some heart, return the fire in the dark. Real niggas stand up, return the fire in the dark. Yelling freedom, return the fire in the dark. Poverty's a noose, hanging dreams by the thread. Politicians promise change, but we still end up dead. Fed lies on silver platters, feast on lead. The pen and the pistol both aiming for the head. Fuck some chains rattling, echoes of ancestors. Rebellion's a symphony, truth is the instructor. Loyalty's a gamble, trust under pressure. Life's a chessboard, pawns measure the treasure. Sins of the father bleed into the sun, cycles of the system, revolvers weigh a ton. Write our own history, ink mixed with the gun. Revolution ain't finished until the war is won. No fun, just run. The rabbit got the goddamn gun. Revolutionary flames burn deep in the heart. From the ashes of the streets where the riots start. Copper fists raise high, tear the system down. Fuck the system, return the fire in the dark. Show some heart, return the fire in the dark. Real niggas stand up, return the fire in the dark. Yelling flim, return the fire in the dark.
Now, I don't get like this unless provoked. I like to spread love. So I typically come in peace, but I'm always war ready. It'd be wise to remember that. Yeah, it'd be wise to remember that. False prophet, fruit parade. Yeah, your truth gets slayed. Every word a charade. Game you played, getting displayed. False prophet, getting sprayed. Crowd dismayed. Every move you betray. Delayed, time to fade. You just a shade. Preaching to the people, but your Lexus twisted and broken. Claiming revolution, but your act is sugar coated. Talking heavy on the lie, but your steps sound hollow. A shepherd in disguise, leading sheep to the gallows. Being master wisdom, your script ain't authentic. Quoting books you can't comprehend, knowledge pathetic. Call yourself a beacon, but your light don't shine. More puppet than prophet, tangled up in your own line. Quit fishing, motherfucker. False prophet, fruit parade. Hey, your truth gets slayed. Every word a charade. Game you played, getting displayed. False frighted, getting displayed. Hey, crowd dismayed. Every move you betray. Delayed, time to fade. You just fade. Got a soapbox, but you ain't cleaning the soul. Talking about old dude while your heart's full of cold. You ain't awake, just a snooze in disguise. Spreading rainbow dreams while the real ones die. Your mantras rehearsed, your chants sound plastic. Wanna lead a movement, but your grip is too elastic. Your third eye's blind, your crown ain't divine. You a glitch in the matrix, ain't no spark in your line. Broken mind.
It would be wise to never speak my name again.
False prophet, fruit parade. Your truth gets laid. Every word a charade. Games made, it getting displayed. False prophet, getting displayed. Crowd dismayed. Every move you betray. Delayed, time to fade. You just a shade. Mushroom cloud, split atoms with the syllables I spray. Bitch, get in the kitchen, go fold some clothes. Ain't a laundry day. I'm a chessboard king, you just a pawn in decay. Step to me, that's a gamble. Vegas odds don't play. Your spirit missing rhythm like a clock with no tick. My mind is like a Rubik's cube, solved every color, every click. Your live stream still expired, smelling sour like milk. While mine weave fine threads, designer crafted silk. You wanna be a man, that's plagiarism a crime. I'm taking out the trash, call it your leave this shit alone, or it can continue. It's all on you. And one last thing. Fuck you! Yeah. Respectfully! Yeah. Yeah. Parade, yeah. Getting slayed, yeah. Charade, yeah. Getting displayed, getting sprayed, crowds dismayed, betrayed, delayed, fade, shade.
Love's a whisper in the dark. Hate's a scream that leaves a mark. They dance together, hand in hand. A twisted waltz, a shifting sand. Love and hate, they pull my strings, tear me up, then make me sing. Caught between the push and shove. Is it hate or is it love? A kiss can burn like molten steel. A slap can heal, or wound can seal. The line is thin, it's paper fine. Between the bitter and divine. Tell me why it feels the same. Fuel for fire or for fun. Love and hate, they pull my strings. Tear me up, then make me sing. Caught between the push and shove. Is it hate or is it love? Black and white, they blur the night. One wrong turn, one wrong feels right. Hearts collide in endless fight. What's the cost of this delight?
I saw the moon fall into your eyes. A silver thread where the cosmos ties. Every heartbeat whisper, every breath untamed. Our worlds collided, nothing stayed the same. Your voice, a flame, it melts my fear. Your touch, it draws me near. The gravity of us pulling closer, pulling tight. No escape, no resistance under love. God's eternal life. The gravity of us, we're the stars that collide, forever spinning in this endless tide. You move like a dream that forgot to fade. I'm the shadow dancing in the glow you made. Your laughter bends the air, your smile rewrites time. We're a song unwritten, but every note aligns. Your name, it lingers, a melody sweet. Your love, a rhythm, Messiah, repeat. Oh, the gravity of us, pulling closer, pulling tight, no escape, no resistance under love's eternal light. The gravity above us, we're the stars that collide, forever spinning in this endless time.
All right, y'all be easy. Signing out. Signing off. Peace.